Prepare yourself.
Oh, this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Hello again and welcome to the Cathedral of Wisdom for the Ninja Troll Digicast. It is I, Tim Dixon, along with Mike Worth. We are your hosts today.
Hello.
I just always wanted to, people do that all the time in comics and science fiction. They always say,
"It is I,"
comma, and then say their name.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. So.
The Timothy.
It's a standard in comics, so I wanted to do that. Because we were actually just talking today. I've gotten up to issue 8 on Secret Wars now that it's all out.
Awesome.
And somebody does that. It's like, it is I, Maximus. And I was like, okay, who the hell's that?
Who's that?
But yeah, I just thought it was cool. I was like, I want to be able to do that. Step into a room and you have to hold yourself that way. You have to have your arm up and
turn.
Yeah, you have to turn to the side. It's I.
And you hold your chest. Right. Bill S. Preston, Esquire.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
Yeah. I think "'tis I" now means Google me.
There you go. Yeah. That's exactly what it means.
Please.
But welcome to the Ninja Troll Digicast. This week we are going to take a look at, because it is the 50th anniversary. This year is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek premiering the original series. We're gonna, in our showcase segment, we're gonna take a look at the Starship Enterprises.
Awesome.
The plural.
I've always wanted to know about that because it's like which was D, which is A. You know, there's missing ones as well, right?
Yes, exactly. And there's a far future one that shows up that actually showed up in Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh,
the prequel series.
Cool.
So that one was kind of a surprise for me. I didn't realize it had shown
up.
But also we're gonna go back to our Exploring the Multiverse segment. Last week we took a look at the best story so far.
So far, right?
Now we're jumping right back into it with Crisis Times 5.
Yeah, Grant Morrison story from the 90s.
Another kooky Grant Morrison story, I'm sure.
It's not that kooky.
It's not as kooky as
Animal Man. Animal Man was a moment.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was exactly what it was. But also we've got a lot of movie and TV news and news from the comic rack coming out of a couple specials that both DC and Marvel had on TV this week.
Those are cool.
There was a lot of really cool information and some tidbits about the future, especially DC. They had a lot of stuff about their upcoming movies. So we're going to have all that in our comic rack and our movie and TV news. But we want to start off with a couple tidbits. First off, we have to say happy birthday to the 4th Doctor, most probably I think the most well-known Doctor.
Yeah.
Tom Baker.
Okay.
He's the one with the scarf. That's the thing. When you think of Doctor Who, most people think of him. If you don't know like the new show now, that's the one you think about. That's the classic one. That's the one you remember. He was
Dr. Harry Potter. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he was a Gryffindor. So, but he turned 82 this week.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
But he's a Time Lord, so it doesn't matter.
It's true, so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
he's
getting ready to regenerate. So, and I also, I've been wanting to keep a track of the Doctor Who episodes that I watch each week. Yeah, and I've got none. This big goose egg this week.
Timothy Dixon,
that's right.
You have failed this radio show.
That's right. So I had to jump back on it and pick back up with it. I had done the first 2, Rose, and then. The End of the World, I think it was called The End of the World.
Yeah, he was. You talked about it.
Yeah. I've done those 2. So.
Well, I watched part of Rose. Mm-hmm. It was good. I thought it was really kind of scary.
It was.
Those mannequins were creepy as get out.
Very creepy, yeah.
But cool. I liked sort of how, there was like this intense moment. And, I mean, you can tell it's kind of an older show. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to keep at it, I think.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's quirky at times. But you also had a chance for Christopher Eccleston, who played the Doctor, to have a little moment to where he can show there's a little regret, there's a little, there's more emotion in the Doctor than he usually shows. You had a little moment to where somebody said something about him being alone and him, and things he's done in the past. So he has regret, he has guilt about stuff he's had to do in the past.
Wow.
And I think there's a lot of times he keeps that like a distance he puts in between himself and the companions and other people in general. is because of that. Is because of
He's a very professional Time Lord.
Yes, he's a doctor.
The the Doctor Who HR would be pleased.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a fun series so far. So I've got to jump back in and get caught up. But something else I saw this week: Luke Skywalker's blaster from The Empire Strikes Back is going up for auction, and it is expected to fetch around $300,000.
Yeah, crazy.
Because I didn't win the Powerball, I will not be bidding. But if I had, I would.
And if anybody wants to team up with us, we just need you to put down the 299,000. Between the two of us, we can get the rest.
Okay, we can shake out a good 34 or 35 bucks.
I think so.
Between the two of us.
Don't throw away that can you got in
That's
your
right,
hand right now. Every bit counts.
We'll drive
This
to
is a
Michigan
serious
and get
item.
10 cents for it.
And then we'll rotate, odds and even days.
That's right. Yeah, I'd have it on my hip coming to work with it.
Right, I'd be open carry.
That's right. Open carry, that's right. Because there's nothing like a good blaster.
Nope.
Hokey religions are no replacement for a good blaster at your side.
Exactly.
Yep.
Especially
like
when
Han
Greedo's
Solo.
there.
That's right. And a group of scientists have managed to suck the fun out of the room again, and because they have proved that Spider-Man would not really be able to climb walls.
Wait a minute. They took time to prove that?
Don't you have anything else to do? Like solving real problems?
Yeah, instead of trying to find where
harshing our
Mordor
buzz.
is, right? Yeah, right.
I mean, come on. Yeah, we know he really couldn't do that. But,
Right.
But they basically they said that for him to a human's weight to be supported, he would have to have contact. 80% of his body would have to be in contact.
Yeah, otherwise he'd fall off.
Yeah, because just the weight of a human.
That would be an awkward Spider-Man.
It would, yeah.
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 It's Slugman.
It's Slugman, exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, I was like, come on, just go cure something. Go do something else.
Seriously.
Leave us alone.
It's like, unless this is a problem, like people are calling in, they're like, Spider-Man exists, man. Come on, it's true.
So, if I want to climb up the wall, how could I do that?
Yeah, right. Right.
Stop it.
Give me the Home Depot shopping list, okay?
Right. Man, that would be awesome. But people who have built something from our beloved science fiction in the real world is a ballistic body armor manufacturer, AR-500.
Oh, I saw this.
They have made tactical armor called Galactac, based on the Mandalorian armor of Boba Fett.
Do you see the picture of it?
Yes.
Frightening looking.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
I'd be like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And realize that it's real. I mean, they're making this stuff.
Now, if it comes
awesome.
with like the claw,
wrist rockets,
and the wrist bolas and stuff, and then the back missile, we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's cool, and obviously, nerds work there.
Totally. I mean, can you be like, he's worth more to be dead?
Oh,
put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. Sorry, I'm doing special edition, Boba.
Yes, yeah. There's a difference there.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was. The pictures of it looked really, really cool.
And
so.
very simple. I mean, they sort of, I guess, got around the copyright, but hopefully it's effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're trying to say this is Boba Fett. I mean, it's not like a licensed thing. So I'm surely Disney's not going to give them crap about that.
I hope not. Watch when they're like, they capture a terrorist or something.
Oh, yeah. It's a bounty hunter.
How you'd poop in your pants if you saw that.
Absolutely.
If you like SWAT team, okay, but like if like a Mandalorian body armor,
it would either be me pooping my pants or me going cool.
Yeah, right. Can I get a picture before you kill me?
We can get a selfie. That would be awesome. And the Wizards of the Coast is releasing a new Ravenloft adventure from Dungeons and Dragons called The Curse of Strahd.
Oh.
With the original authors Tracy and Laura Hickman. This was
these are books, the Dungeons and Dragons
no,
books?
it's a module, a D&D module.
Oh.
And it was the Ravenloft thing was it came out probably
I remember that in the 80s.
Yeah, it was like late 80, probably 89.
Because they had books. They had incredible amounts of novels that went with it.
Yeah,
it was like vampires was a big part of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Strahd is a vampire.
Okay.
And it included vampires and werewolves and stuff into the D&D world. So you had elves, but you also had
monster movie.
Yeah, basically.
Horror movie.
And Tracy Hickman is a very prolific fantasy writer.
Cool.
So yeah, you had somebody who had the chops to write a good story into this. And the main bad guy is Strahd von Zarovich.
Oh.
He's the big vampire. I remember when this came out. We played it at the time I was playing D&D, and I remember playing it. It was so much fun because it gave an extra level of creepy into the game.
Right, because the dungeon was the dungeon, but that's
yeah. But then if you've got a vampire and all this stuff thrown into it, it was a lot of fun. So
cool.
I think it's cool that they're putting that stuff out again. So
nice.
And my daughter Emma, I just thought this was really cool, so I threw this in. My daughter Emma is starting to read Fahrenheit 451. Oh
my God!
For school.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was really excited about that. Now
it's Bradbury, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
Granted, I was probably her age the last time I read it, so I need to.
Have you seen the movie lately? The '60s?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good adaptation. I mean, the book is the book, but the firemen look great. They actually, okay, you're a Star Wars fan. If you look at Fahrenheit 451, the movie, you're going to see like basically Imperial officers without the medallions and the little pens.
Yeah.
The little pocket protectors.
Yeah. So but I just thought it was cool that she said, "Guess what I'm starting to read in class?" And
wow.
Yeah, it was Fahrenheit
that
451.
makes sense,
That's awesome.
right? She's 12, 13 years old.
13,
that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
8th grade. So yeah, it's a perfect time to do it. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'm just really excited that she's getting to the classics.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And we also had news from NASA this week. We may have discovered a new planet.
Indeed.
And this, you know more of this story than I do. So
I heard on the radio yesterday that I think Caltech scientists, California Institute of Technology, let's see, the planetary scientists Konstantin Batyin and Mike Brown of Caltech in Pasadena.
These are real life Big Bang Theory guys.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Who are as excited about the Mandalorian armor as we are.
Oh, yes.
But they're calling this the 9th planet. And I put on our Facebook page the 10th planet if you're still a Pluto
If you're
considerer.
holding on to Pluto.
Totally, yeah. So, they have evidence that there's a planetary body nearly the size of Neptune, but has yet been unseen, right? And it orbits the sun every 15,000 years.
Yikes.
So, yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, you have a million birthdays before. Yeah.
Wow.
They say it's a giant and it's knocked out of the planet formation region near the sun. And then I guess they probably think it's going to be a gas giant, not another habitable planet.
Yeah, that far out it would kind of have to be. But it does seem, it's pretty massive. So
yeah,
and if that's pretty far out for to have something that massive. So it's a little odd.
I mean, you figure that Pluto is smaller than our moon,
mm-hmm.
So they considered it a planet. Mm-hmm. But then Charon, it's like compatriot a moon.
It's moon.
Satellite. And there's a Ceres out there which is actually bigger than Pluto. So is it a planet? Not really.
No, it's a dwarf planet as well.
Yeah,
but it's in the asteroid belt.
Right.
Yeah. Vega is also a dwarf planet in the asteroid belt, I believe.
I've heard of Waumea and Makemake and Sirius and Eris as being from the...
I'm sorry, Vesta, not Vega.
Oh, Vesta. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vega's a system.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, here we are astronomizing.
That's right. Yeah.
But, Timmy,
that's what we do.
This has an amazing history in science fiction.
Awesome.
And I did some research.
There you go.
And I found a cool list of maybe potential names, right? So, if we got the Enterprise for the shuttle, I mean,
we need to name this. We need to get a cool name for this one.
Exactly. So I'm going to go sort of back in history up to now and maybe give you some potentials. And I think this will be a nice little sort of memory lane with planets.
Cool.
So Jules Verne, in 1889, in his story, The Year 2889, created the planet Olympus. And it's a massive planet beyond Neptune. And, it's amazing. And it actually, they're kind of close. It takes 1,300 years to orbit the planet, to the sun.
Yeah.
So it does have a long orbit, like we're hearing with this new planet.
Yeah. So he actually nailed it pretty good there with his prediction. Then.
Jules is the man. I don't know. So all that absinthe, man, paid him clairvoyant.
That'll do it.
Donald W. Homer in 1912 wrote Their Destiny, and he talked about astronauts traveling past Alpha Centauri as they traveled past Neptune to leave the solar system.
Star. That's
This is 1912. So
Okay, yeah.
They,
Alpha
you know,
Centauri's a star. So.
the science was a little low back then. Yeah. But you're right. Yeah, right. It's exactly. Then my man, H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, nice.
He had a planet that is where Cthulhu, right, comes from.
The old ones.
The old one, yeah. And that planet is called Yugath or Lukath, right? There's always two pronunciations for Lovecraft. So that was 1930.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Then our man, Arthur C. Clarke,
Oh, yes.
in 46, came up with probably what is the most referenced name for this imaginary planet. In his story, Rescue Party, Persephone, right?
Okay.
The Greek story of Persephone. Yeah, so that's out there. That's pretty cool. And then 1951, The Puppet Masters, not to be confused with the Metallica record, by Robert Heinlein. There's a planet called past Pluto called Kalki,
Okay.
which, yeah, don't be confused with khakis because it's different.
Have you ever seen the movie Puppet Masters?
I'm not.
It's really good. It's
Is
really
it this
creepy.
same story?
Yeah.
It's a science fiction story.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you've seen it. Have you seen a picture of this Kalki planet? Or?
No, I don't. The puppet. It may have varied from the book.
Okay.
Because it was, if I remember correctly, it was on Earth, and it was kind of like an invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, okay.
So
the people from this planet came to Earth and kind of
and took over.
Took
yeah.
over, okay.
And they used the sound of a tree frog.
to lure you in.
No, that's the sound they made.
Oh.
So I just thought it was funny that obviously people who didn't grow up in the country were the ones that said, "Oh yeah, let's use that noise." And it's like, "Oh, that's a tree frog." That's
Sounds like Night of the Creeps or
Yeah.
It's an inspiration. Well, we get from there we get the planet Kalki just past Pluto. Then James Blish, who in 1962 wrote A Life for the Stars, he named the planet a trans-Plutonian planet called Proserpina. Proserpina. Sorry, Proserpina, which is a much more interesting name. Roald Dahl, right? Author of Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, 1972. Where the Venetius Canids are sent to be coming from is the planet Vermes,
okay.
which is fantastic. Then we have Edmund Cooper. He wrote in 1973 The 10th Planet, and it's a planet called Minerva.
Okay.
And so it's the human colonists who escaped ecological disaster on Earth and Mars live in underground cities in this where there's lakes of liquid helium.
Ooh.
So sounds
Take a swim in that.
vermicious. Yeah. Then Joe Haldeman wrote The Forever War in 1974.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
you know
one
it?
of my favorite, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
So he actually named a planet called Charon, Chaorn,
Yeah.
which became the name of the moon planet after the fact. And he had done it before it was discovered.
Yeah.
So he called it.
Yeah. Well, I think they may have done that.
Oh, as like a reference to
I
it?
think so, yeah.
Well, look, if they're going to do that, then he may have a little leg up here.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly,
over Arthur C. Clarke. Larry Niven wrote The Borderland of Sol in 1975. And, he's got Persephone, but let's see here. And then he's got other planets. There's Cana, Antenora, and Flotima, which are the innermost rounds of Dante's Inferno.
Oh, okay.
With there's another planet they're thinking of discovering in the story, which they reserve the name Judica for Judas, like Judas Iscariot.
Ah.
So interesting, right? So
Yeah.
right, Neptune being the god of the depths and
Yep.
taking it deeper.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Then Robert Anton Wilson in Schrodinger's Cat Trilogy in 1980. The 10th planet is named Mickey, and the 11th Goofy, after characters in Looney Tunes.
That was just kind of a funny. That was not quite like Hitchhiker's Guide, but
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. I've got the humors. Then Claudia Vernakis wrote The Best Christmas Gift in the Universe in 1990. And the 10th, 11th, and 12th planets are known as Tarsus, Amam, and Gi. Yeah. Believe it or not, Gi is clarified butter. And now you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just like, why would you name a planet after clarified butter? Maybe it looks like it. I mean, that'd be great. 1992, Douglas Adams writes Mostly Harmless.
Yep.
And, the planet in that story is officially called Persephone, so his nod to Clark.
Yeah.
But the astronomer who discovers it in the story names it Rupert, after his parrot. So there you go. That's some Doug Adams for you right there. I guess we can call this something, but the 10th Planet Trilogy, 99 and 2000, Dean Leslie Smith and Christine Karen Rush, they had just a 10th planet. They didn't really actually name it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Moving along, Kim Stanley, Galileo's Dream 2009, names the planet Hades.
Okay.
Which would be a good one.
Again, it makes sense.
Keeping with the gods, right? Yep. Okay, now on TV, you'll love this. There's actually a 1966 episode of Doctor Who called The 10th Planet.
Okay.
And its name is Mondas. Yeah, which is kind of cool. And actually, it originated to the solar system with an orbit near the counter-Earth before the native Cybermen powered it with an engine and moved it out of the solar system. So counter-Earth, which goes with Earth.
Okay.
It's like an opposite Earth. 1975, the series The Star Maidens, planet ruled by women. They lived there. It was known as Medusa. So there was the Medusans lived in that outer band. Star Trek Maps, which is a 1970s publication by Bantam Books. They had a 10th planet in the solar system called Persephone, so they kept it there. And then also, TV episode, the original series, The Changeling, mentions only 9 planets exist in the solar system, and later... I read that wrong, sorry. It's in the book, but yeah, it doesn't... they don't ever make mention of it in the TV series, so I guess that's a Legends one.
Yes.
Alf, the TV series, some hard-hitting stuff. It's not Melmac. There's 2 outer planets that are called Dave and Alvin.
Of course.
Yeah. He reveals to Brian that 2 planets
Simon
exist.
And Theodore?
I think that's another solar system, Timmy. Yeah. Duck Dodgers in the 24th Century features Daffy Duck, right, going to Planet X.
Okay.
All right.
That's pretty simple. It was Planet X.
Yeah, it was easy.
That's the best way to do it.
Right. We'll get to Godzilla, right, but Planet X is where the monsters come from.
Yep.
In the anime series Space Battleship Yamamoto in 1974.
Oh, God, I love that one.
Yeah. They have a planet, let's see, Brumus, but originally it's called Minerva, so borrowed from that previous mention, which is really cool. The original Dragon Ball series, not Dragon Ball Z, they had a 10th planet, which was formerly a brown dwarf called Makio. Makio Sar is what it's called. So, good stuff. Sailor Moon, had a 10th planet called Nemesis, which was cool. Do you remember Exo Squad? It was like a show, and like they went around. It was like kind of like Battlestar Galactica, but they had suits, like mech suits.
I don't remember that.
It was a cartoon in the 90s. I vaguely remember it. But there was a 10th planet composed of dark matter where the pirates would hide. They could go in there and hide, and that was called Chaos. This could be a very cool name.
That is.
The Mutant Chronicles, it's a show. I hadn't heard of it. They had a planet called Nero.
Okay.
Yeah. And, of the 9th and 10th planet sort of mythos, that's a nice list there.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
What would you go with? Which one would you think would be
well documented in literature.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I think it would... I would almost be a proponent of naming it after someone.
Ah, okay.
Because there's been so many... and it'll never happen. But there's been so many huge names in science fiction.
Yeah.
That, I wouldn't be opposed to calling it Vern.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that. Like I said, again, it will never happen.
I can see the memes now, Timmy.
Yeah, know what I mean?
Hey, Vern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah.
But, yeah, something like that would be cool. Or like, it would be nice, especially Mars. There's been so many writers who wrote about Mars and gave us stories about there that something on Mars be named, like Bradbury Plain or something like that, or Mount Bradbury or Burroughs, Edgar Rice Burroughs, who wrote John Carter. Something it would be cool to reference. And now an entire planet, I don't know if, like I said, it'll never happen, but it'd be nice to see a little
Sure would
nod
have.
to
Or
something
colonies, perhaps,
Yeah.
whatever we'd set up. Maybe like the John Jones greenhouse.
like that. Yeah. The greenhouse, nice.
Yeah. But actually, our very own Chuck Charles gave a suggestion
I'm sure he did.
of a planet name. And, we have Uranus.
Yes.
So I think he's going to call it Myanus.
Okay, yeah, I think that.
So
we should
that
go
way,
with that.
so we could name it after something that's really famous. But I thought I'd stay in that, and I thought I'd give it my own name.
Okay.
And like being from New York, we just call it Your Ass.
Yeah.
But I like Persephone,
yeah.
Hades, and Chaos.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
I don't think it'd be named Hades simply because
Too dark.
yeah, it's a little too dark. But it does make sense. The naming scheme has all been
Roman.
Yeah.
Right? It was Roman and Greek, right? 'Cause
Roman and
there's-
Greek, yeah.
Which I forget which are Greek, but
Neptune.
well, Poseidon would be the Greek.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Neptune is that. Uranus
they
is death, right? Or time? No. What is? He's the father of. I forget what Uranus is.
Uranus was he was one of the Titans, wasn't he?
I forget.
Let's see.
But then
here.
Jupiter's Zeus, right?
Yeah.
Venus is. I think Venus is the one. Yeah.
Maybe.
Venus is a Greek because it would be Aphrodite. No, Aphrodite would be her.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Mercury is what's the speed Greek one?
I don't remember.
Oh man,
Maybe Mercury was.
Mercury. No, Mercury's Roman.
Okay. Uranus is from Greek mythology.
Uranus is okay.
Okay.
And what is he?
Um,
The death.
is the okay? Uranus is the only planet whose name is derived from a figure from Greek mythology.
There it is. Okay.
From the Latinized version of the Greek god of the sky, Uranus.
Greek out of the sky. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Okay. And it does and it does have rings too.
Yes. Yeah, it does, and they go upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Klingons circling.
I heard that they're cloaked in orbit.
Oh, they're not cloaked.
Well, I just can't see them. You can't see your own Klingons. So anyway, that was a really cool discovery, and
We've devolved into potty humor. So.
I thought we started there. So
Yeah,
that's,
pretty much,
That's good
yeah.
with me.
But yeah, there's definitely a literary backing for this 10th planet. So
Totes.
yeah, so we've imagined it for hundreds of years. So,
Yeah, indeed.
but yeah, let's move from Uranus right into the movie and TV news. Yeah. First thing, the Spider-Man movie,
yeah.
the solo movie.
Mhm.
It's going to be directed by John Watts.
Cool.
And it's been moved to a July 7th release in
Ooh.
2017.
Oh, what was it previously?
It was May, I think.
Okay,
It was like
so slightly back.
It was a big deal to almost like a multiple team trade in like baseball, where one goes to here and the other goes here and all this.
Oh,
They
man.
moved around a lot of Sony and Disney moved around a lot of
People?
premieres just
Oh, wow.
to kind of make things work a little better.
Oh,
Star
nice.
Wars Episode 8 has been moved from May to December to give a little more separation from Rogue One,
Oh,
because Rogue One is supposed to come out in December. Then, 5 months later,
Oof.
Episode 8 was supposed to come out.
That's good.
I
That's
think,
good.
yeah, it gives a little more separation.
Makes me
so-
buy more toys.
Exactly, yeah. We come out with a whole new set and we spend more money.
Oh my
So,
God. Yeah.
but so now Spider-Man will be on the 4th of July weekend for 2017.
Cool.
So, and then the new Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
got moved at to some other release date. I don't remember exactly.
Was it Dead
That
Man
was-
Say No Words or Speak No Words or something?
It's Dead Man is in it. I don't remember exactly what
Yes.
the name of it is, but yeah, it got moved to a different release date too. So.
That's awesome. I would love
Yeah.
to see another Pirates movie.
Yeah, and moving, I do like the fact that they moved it, Star Wars, a little farther away from Rogue One. Give a little more breathing room.
I
Makes
hope.
sense.
Yeah, I hope they keep doing that because
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have a even dosing. 'Cause
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll get fatigue. And
Well, we're having one a year, so
wow.
you better. I mean, remember that and just keep them towards the winter, so that they're not too piled together.
And we're generally happier then. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Right.
we're all fat and happy. So, and Deadpool fans in both New York and Los Angeles got a pretty nice surprise when they went to a theater to watch what they thought was going to be a few minutes of first look footage. They saw the entire movie.
Get out.
Yep. They showed them the entire movie, and I don't know whether it was in L.A. or New York.
Oh, that's awesome.
But Ryan Reynolds was there.
Oh, my God.
How geeked would those people be?
Oh, man.
I mean, they would just be nuts.
Imagine like, honey, this is a long trailer.
I
didn't pee.
Yeah, I know. You better be prepared.
Honey, you better just go. This is going to be a once in a lifetime chance.
Yeah, you go ahead. You're on your own.
And then you get up, and then Ryan Reynolds is sitting in your chair.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But the reviews, of course, have been overwhelmingly positive.
Awesome. Perfect.
But you also have to think about the people that would be going to see this are probably going to like it anyway.
If they're going to see a trailer
like
type
the
new
footage thing
in that's a lot of effort.
Yeah,
to see a little bit.
So I mean, granted, everything is positive, but most probably you kind of have to look at that. It probably would be anyway.
That's good. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds says that he wants to see an R-rated X-Force movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
And actually, he says that this being a hard R, and from what I understand, it is hard R.
Oh, it's got to be.
Gore and language and nudity, all. It's going to be a pretty hard R.
Well,
but
good.
He's saying that there's a place for that.
Yes.
For superhero movies that are like that, and so he's hoping that this kind of opens the door for that, and they get an X-Force movie that's rated R, and they're already talking about. I don't know if it's just in the talking stage, but he says they're already talking about it.
Nice. So,
and of course, that's going to be the first thing is with Deadpool's. Okay, when are we going to see Cable? So
I've seen like Photoshop versions of Liam Neeson as Cable, which look pretty good.
Yeah, actually,
they look really
bad.
good. Yeah, he'd be a good guy.
And there is an after credit scene, so remember to stick around for that.
Of course.
And the movie has been banned in China.
I know. I couldn't believe
just a little
that.
Too much.
Really? Like,
I guess the violence probably. I would figure.
I'm not a.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know why
what
they would.
The system is like in China.
Yeah,
but
I don't know why they would ban it, but that's my guess would be the violence.
They used to roll tanks down the street to celebrate being awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I
don't know.
Their loss.
They do what they got to do.
Sure.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee says that, and of course this may just be hyping the film. He says his Deadpool cameo was his favorite.
Well, it's probably his last.
But I think it may be. There's been talk about how surprising it is.
Oh.
So it may be like in a strip club or Stan as some kind of pimp or something. I don't know because they're making a big deal of. Yeah, they're making a big deal about how cool it is. So and he's saying that this was his favorite one to do.
Wow.
And they asked him what he wanted to see in future movies, and he said more nakedness. So I'm thinking he's probably in a strip club or something like that.
So I'm thinking like there's a moment where like he's in a Deadpool costume and like the bad guys think he's the right one.
Could be.
And he's like, "Thanks, man," and then he's like, "No problem."
Yeah, yeah. It could be as well. Yeah.
But I like your strip club idea better. That feels nicer on my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I think it was extremely cool for them to do that to show the entire movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that more often?
Yeah, no kidding. It'd be awesome. Yeah. But Wonder Woman has released the official logo for their film. I wrote this earlier in the week. This is before the DC film special that we had Tuesday night.
Right.
So that was the big news then was they released the logo.
Yeah.
But it's a cool classic look to the logo that has the double W's.
And they like interlock a little bit.
They interlock, and they also do double duty as the eagle.
Yeah, that's right.
For the costume.
Which was a very cool sort of, because not every Wonder Woman costume has the eagle head at the sort of the crest of the bustier.
Yeah, so it has the little, basically the eagle's head going back the other way.
Cool.
So it has that classic look to it. But that leads us directly to The DC Films presents Dawn of the Justice League special that was on Tuesday night.
That was incredible.
After The Flash. Instead of iZombie, a new episode of iZombie, they had 2 specials.
Yep.
One was about Legends of Tomorrow.
Right.
And one was DC Films presents The Dawn of the Justice League, hosted by Kevin Smith, who
was so cheesy with Jeff Johns.
He is an incredible director and an incredible writer. Not a host.
No. I've not watched him on Comic Book Men, so I don't know how
he's
he
not
is
that
there.
bad because it's more he's teeing up other people.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
format.
Hey, tell me what happened at the shop this week.
He's like, oh my God, Jeff Johns.
He was about to pee on himself.
I know,
or
like
acting like he was about to pee on
You're going to be a director. Like,
yeah.
They respect you. You know, like you're the reason why comics are kind of important.
He was just a little over the top. It was a bit much.
That's
but
all right. Yeah.
we got a huge amount of stuff out of it.
I know.
We got a new Suicide Squad trailer set to Bohemian Rhapsody, which was awesome.
That's great.
It's going to be a very different kind of comic book movie. It's not your normal, and they make a point to hammer that home. It's like, okay, these are bad guys, and they set that up just immediately in the trailer with Amanda Waller saying, I want to put together a team, the worst of the worst. They're expendable. If they're dead, nobody cares.
And who's playing Amanda Waller? I recognized her.
Oh, I forget her name. It's Olivia Davis, maybe.
Okay.
She
looked familiar, like she was from something that I had seen her in before.
Probably.
But it really looks good.
It does. It looks like the biggest thing is it's a lot of fun.
And I love Will Smith's like we're a real Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Right, sort of doing the
he's kind of the
chorus of the song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he Viola Davis is her name.
Viola Davis. Okay.
Let's see, what else was she in? Oh, she's in that show How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She looks good, right? I mean, because isn't Amanda Waller like a sumo wrestler? Like
at different times, yeah, and like in the animated stuff, in some of the comic books, yeah, she was a heavier lady,
and she could like put people down. I mean, yeah,
and she knew it was like Kingpin. She knew how to.
Oh yeah,
she knew how to fight.
Right.
But she comes off as like just an incredibly ruthless, not really business person, but like an administrator.
Yeah,
like
bureaucrat.
She knows what she needs to do, and this is what she's going to do.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole setup with that, you have, I don't know if it was, I couldn't really tell if it was Will Smith saying it or whether it was the guy playing Rick Flag when he's basically given the rundown of the team.
Yeah.
And I think that was great because it sets everybody up. Like if you don't know who Killer Croc is, you don't know who El Diablo is, and stuff like that.
It's like that roll call at the beginning of a comic.
Yeah, it was like Deadshot, he shoots people. Killer Croc's the crocodile, he eats people.
Yeah.
El Diablo, he burns people. Enchantress is possessed by a witch, and Harley Quinn is just being crazy.
And then Katana, right?
Yeah, they didn't.
They said like her sword steals the soul of
I like that they're going with that full story that the blade, everybody it kills,
cursed. Yeah,
it steals their soul, and it's still in there, so it's almost a sentient sword.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we got also from that, aside from the Suicide Squad, we got a lot of information about Batman versus Superman, and even farther than that, the Justice League as well.
Yeah.
It was confirmed that Green Lantern is going to be Green Lantern Corps, and judging from what they used as concept footage there, it looked like we had Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Simon Baz, and possibly Kyle Rayner. It wasn't really Kyle Rayner's outfit, but they had Guy Gardner in there as well.
Yeah.
So, if we get a big
they're going to
screen,
do a lantern.
If we're going to get a big screen version of Guy Gardner, I'm going to be over the moon.
You have to wear the haircut though. We'll all have
to do
we just got to get the red
bowl cut.
The red bowl cut. Yeah. People be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. I'm Guy Gardner.
Well,
shut up.
Yeah.
Well, we got new footage from Wonder Woman, Batman versus Superman, and we got a look at Aquaman. And this was just again the concept stuff, but we got a look at Aquaman, the Flash, and Cyborg. And the Flash this was very interesting when they talked about him. He will be able to move through time and possibly the multiverse.
Whoa.
They
I
actually
guess
said
you
that.
Can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that opens up a whole lot more of interesting things that they can do if the Flash can do that. And we actually we got to see each actor talking about, like Jason Momoa talking about Aquaman.
Yeah.
And they're keeping with the origin story of his father was a
human.
lighthouse keeper, and his mother was the Queen of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And the Flash.
So romantic.
Yes. The Flash is Barry Allen. They didn't really talk much about his origin, but I assume they're going to stick with that.
That's going to be the tricky one, right? To sort of orient, because you've got the TV property as well. So
I'm interested to see what they do there. But
yeah.
Cyborg, they're sticking with the whole thing, except he works for LexCorp. No, his dad works for LexCorp, and that's what he's there on a day there's an accident, and his dad has to use some of the tech that's there to save him.
Help him. Yeah.
But the biggest thing they said about him is Cyborg is online 24/7. He doesn't sleep. He's just constantly pulling in data.
Wow.
And that's his biggest thing. Is his biggest struggle is not succumbing to the machinery and becoming and keeping himself human.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing, because it always seemed like when they did the New 52 and they rejiggered the Justice League to kind of adjust the.
Was that sort of the most popular, characters? I think.
Yeah, and they added in Cyborg, and it seemed kind of out of place because he had never really been part of the Justice League.
He was a Teen Titan.
He was a Teen Titan, yeah, and he's grown up and he's gotten to be where he's a really good character, but it just felt a little weird. So this will give a chance to have him from the beginning, and it was funny in the special they talked about, Kevin Smith talked about and Brave and the Bold back in 60 whatever it was,
right, when
they introduced him, they had all these heroes come together and they start naming them off, but then they stop before they get to Martian Manhunter. It was like, yeah, he was original member.
Yeah.
Cyborg wasn't. Cyborg wasn't even invented at that point. He hadn't been created.
And I mean, you have Manhunter in Supergirl.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're already starting to set up the pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish. I don't know.
It would be nice. Well, maybe that's the multiverse that we'll cross over into.
Could be. I mean, we're with this week's Flash episode, right? We're starting to see, right? They're going to travel to Earth 2 eventually.
Yes.
That's right?
I think this next week.
Cool.
Or maybe the next.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're gonna visit Earth 2 and meet their doppelgangers,
their counterparts.
Yeah. So, we get a look at Wonder Woman's origin, and the Amazons were created to protect man's world, and Diana keeps asking, why don't we go out and do that, what we were created for? And she's told, because they're not worthy. And then she finally just takes it on herself to leave and go help.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
It's going to be set, I don't know if it's going to be set in World War I or II. Couldn't really tell.
Well, aren't there pictures of Chris Pike as Steve Trevor?
Yes. But you can't really tell.
Yeah,
I'm not that up on.
I will date the uniforms.
I'm not at that up on military history as far as uniforms, so I couldn't really say.
Pine, I should say. Yeah.
So I don't really know exactly which war it's set in.
I can tell you if I find a picture.
There you go.
It's a toughie.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, I think it's World War One.
Okay.
Oh.
But I think he's going to be.
It's World War One. Yeah.
He's also going to be playing basically the character's grandson in the modern day. When Wonder Woman's in modern day, she's still going to have a love interest with the grandson, which is just weird.
That's so weird.
But if he was old enough to be in the army in World War I, it would have to be a great grandson.
Yeah, I mean, because he at least, they took really anybody, at least 16, 17, right? 18 is, of course, the age.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. Well.
But yeah, even then, he would, if he was,
that
he would have to be born around 1900.
It could be World War II then. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's going to try and make sense. I mean, I'm looking at his clothes. He's got the wraps around his boots and stuff. Yeah, it might be World War II. There's just nothing that's sort of telltale.
That
So,
says specifically when it's
no guns or anything to sort of say.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
cool.
Let's see if we can find. IMDb tells you everything,
Yeah.
and it tells you nothing.
Put it on everything. Yeah.
It tells me nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, out of his. Let's see. No. Nope. Nothing. Doesn't tell me when it said it all.
Cool.
I know
So
it's
are
going
you
out.
happy, right? As a Justice League original lover, you feeling like this is
So
setting
far,
up real
yes. Yeah, I am enjoying everything it's that I've seen so far, and I'm still jazzed about like I was saying, the rumored stuff that I'd read for Batman versus Superman. If it plays out the way it's supposed to,
You'll be very
not
happy.
the way it's supposed to, but the way it's rumored to by somebody who broke their do not disclose agreement. Then I think it'll play out really well, and it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll give them a good leg up going into the Justice League stuff and all the rest of the stuff as well.
I can't wait.
So
They have so many great villains that would really needs to be
They
realized
have-
on the screen.
and that's the thing, that they have the most, and they mentioned that in the special, they have the most iconic characters
I agreed.
because they've been around for 75 years.
Yeah.
Superman, Batman,
25
Wonder Woman.
years longer than Marvel. So, right?
Yeah, I mean, Captain America is the only
Right.
Marvel character that was
Original.
around at the same time. And so you have these characters that have such a long life and are completely part of the pop culture. And going above pop culture to culture in general.
Right.
Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are all such a part of the fabric of this country. So they have the most iconic characters. So
More so than the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. And maybe Spider-Man would
Yeah.
be in that echelon. Cap, but he's
I
golden.
think Spider-Man is probably at that level now. Iron Man up until the movies was not.
No.
I mean,
You had
Iron
to
Man
love
was
him.
kind of a B level up
true.
until Robert Downey Jr. was the best thing that happened to Iron Man. If it had been I think if it had been anybody else cast in that movie, it wouldn't be
It
nearly
would have been
as
too
big a
serious. Yeah, it would have lost that fun.
deal. Would not have been nearly as big.
Yeah.
So, and I was skeptical when they said Robert Downey Jr. until I saw a picture of him.
And you were like, damn.
And I was like, holy
he looks
crap,
like
that's Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I mean, it just nailed it.
And now they draw Tony in
They-
the comics
yeah,
just
exactly.
like him.
Yep.
Just like Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So,
Well, they were great specials.
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely, yeah.
Stoked. I mean, I was jumping back and forth between Flash and the Cap special, sort of trying to catch what was what.
yeah,
and
and
everything.
the Captain America special that Marvel had on, the biggest thing, I mean, for the most part, there wasn't anything surprising out of that because they were talking about the 75 years of Captain America.
And that's
The-
our showcase that we did.
Exactly,
already.
yeah. The big thing that came out of that is the fact that Steve Rogers will be returning. He will be returned to,
Cap status.
well, his age will be returned to like what we usually know.
Yeah. So are they going to reserum him, or is he exposed to something?
Now,
What's the sort of?
what they've said is the series is going to be called. This is going to be in the comic rack, but I'll just go ahead and
Let's
and
break
talk
form
about-
here.
Yeah, let's break format.
Yeah.
Damn it. Captain America Steve Rogers will be the name of this. I'm sorry, the other way around. Steve Rogers Captain America
Cool.
is the new series is going to be coming out this summer, and it's going to be written by Nick Spencer, and the art will be by Jesus Saez. It will come out of the Avengers standoff crossover. Something in that will return him to his full vigor because now he's aged. He's like 80 years old.
Yeah.
So something's going to happen in that crossover that returns him to whatever suspended age, like early 30s or whatever he's supposed to be.
Right.
And he will actually be back in the uniform as Captain America with a high-tech variant of his classic Golden Age shield.
Yeah. The sort
So
of
there's
Herald
gonna
shield.
be
Yeah.
there's going to be some type of high-tech version of it. I don't know if that includes some kind of electronics or they're just saying it's vibranium.
Oh, okay.
Or
So
or actually,
his original was not vibranium.
I don't know. They hadn't even come up with vibranium yet.
Yeah.
When he actually used that was like the first issue. I don't think it became round until like the third issue.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're saying it's going to be the composite. It's a vibranium adamantium composite.
Oh.
But they can't say that in the movies because they can't use adamantium.
Oh, right, because it's X-Men.
It's X-Men.
Yeah.
But Sam Wilson will not relinquish the Captain America title or Shield.
Yeah.
They will both have series. The one is Captain America Sam Wilson. He will handle more topical and current threats, while Rogers will fight a resurgent Hydra in Steve Rogers' Captain America. So it reverses, like Sam Wilson is Captain America Sam Wilson, and then it's Steve Rogers Captain America.
Oh, all right.
That's
That's
weird.
interesting.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'll tell you, the coolest Cap Shield I think I've ever seen was the Next Avengers
The clear
cartoon.
one on the 70s TV show.
Oh, the one that goes in front of the
The
motorcycle?
one that would be the shield of the motorcycle.
You know, you get the bugs, man.
They actually talked about that in the...
I saw in the episode,
Captain
they're like,
America.
we are sorry for
Yeah, we
that.
basically apologized about that.
Yeah. But the Next Avengers, it's like it's sort of an anime style version of the Avengers, but it's like Ultron's taken over the Earth and killed all the original Avengers.
Oh, wow.
And Tony takes the kids and like takes them to a hidden base in Antarctica and raises them. But then basically, the Ultron threat. Well, Vision shows up and he's like, Ultron is about to find you, whatever. And his son has James Rogers. He's the son of Cap and Black Widow, and he has like this arm gauntlet that generates a digital shield that he can like throw, and then it comes on and blocks bullets, and it's basically like digital matter. It's incredible. I mean, it was one of the greatest future weapons I think I've ever seen, and still keeps the Cap sort of original, I guess, routine, sort of action routine with how he fights.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool. Like as it gets like instead of it breaking, it starts to like it gets static.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like as it's sort of being tested by Ultron and stuff. So it was really cool. I mean, if they're talking about some new tech, I doubt it's going to be that, but I'm sure it'll at least have like YouTube on it.
Yeah,
Like,
because they probably want to stay away from what Sam Wilson is using, so that's why they're using the old style.
looks cool.
It looks like a interstate sign.
Yeah, right, like an old Herald, the swooping sort of with the foils on top.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, but that'll be coming in summer. And Supergirl. Did you watch Supergirl this week?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
We got the Toy Man.
Oh, really?
With the crazy, crazy deadly yo-yo. He had like when he would spin it and blades would come out, and he killed people with it, like several people.
Well,
Man,
just
it
in
was
time
wacky,
for
man.
what's his name? Scrigg, the guy from Phantasm who died.
Oh yeah.
It's like his
Angus
little weapon.
Scrimm, yeah.
Angus Scrimm. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he did that, and when the platonic friend of
the one who's
Kara,
in love with
who's
Kara?
in love with her, it's his dad.
Is the Toyman?
Yes. Yeah, he talked about his dad was in prison, but he never really said what was going on. Then he escapes, and it's revealed that that's who and that's why he never talks about his dad, because he's like, okay, he was my dad up until the point he killed people. Then not so much.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So was it a wacky episode? Goofy?
No, it was pretty pretty
good.
scary. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was very good because it wasn't just like the wacky over the top crazy stuff. No, he was making deadly toys and people were dying.
Cool.
So just like the way he escaped from prison, he used that yo-yo, which sounds silly up until the blades come out and he stabs somebody in the chest. So people died.
I mean, in comics, he like gives kids bears that have bombs in them and stuff.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, it was at a toy convention.
Oh.
And Kara was able to, she set off with her heat vision. She set off the sprinklers, then used her breath to freeze it all, to protect people from the explosions. It was actually pretty ingenious.
Wow.
Yeah, because basically she made a shield
Out of ice. And
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But at one point in the show, he gave Wynn a little toy, a little doll, or he sent it to him. That was actually a little Easter egg here. That was actually the costume for the Toy Man at one point in the comic books.
Oh.
It was like a variation.
Yeah,
The
like a
doll was
jester.
variation. Yes, it looked like
costume.
a little jester.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the little toy looked like that
cool.
that he sent him. And there was outside of the store they were at, there was a Superman kiddie ride. You know, the rocket that you get on and had the shield. Yep. There was one of those out there.
Oh, man.
And at the beginning of the episode, she's actually out flying with the Martian Manhunter. And
cool.
he's teaching her how to fly and how to control everything, and so he's like training her.
Cool.
And she's trying to convince him that he needs to, do more as John Jones instead of Hank Henshaw. And he actually dropped the name Martian Manhunter because he said, no, the world needs Hank Henshaw more than it does
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I would end up being the Martian Manhunter all the time.
Yeah.
So they actually dropped the name.
Cool.
Martian Manhunter, which was the first time. And we next week's episode we'll get the White Martian, which is
that's the bad one, right? Who wants to
the other
kill
race
the
that
race of
killed
greens?
all of his. Yes, killed all of his people and left him the last of his kind. And also next week, Kat's estranged son Adam will be on the show, and he is being played by Blake Jenner, who is Supergirl's husband.
Yes,
Melissa
in
Benoist.
real life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. And it was announced that Daniel DiMaggio has been cast as the teenage Kal-El for the
Awesome.
upcoming episode we were talking about.
So we're gonna have to see how they handle that.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should be pretty good. But you watched Flash last night, or not? 2 nights ago.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I sure did. It was great.
Wally is a street racer,
yeah.
and he's got a lot of attitude.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Yeah, it was. He was being kind of a pain in the ass at the beginning of the episode, but you can kind of understand it. I mean, he feels abandoned, even though Joe didn't know about him. He makes a couple cracks about he's not the greatest detective because he never knew he had a son.
Yeah, right.
Or
that there's street racing going on in Central City.
Street race, yeah. And they also revealed that Jay is dying.
Yeah.
And the only way he can fix it is if he gets his speed back.
Right. So that's so I guess yeah, right. I remember Caitlin saying like,
we're gonna have to fix it.
Let's do this together. Yeah, let's use science. And he's like, "Don't you think I've been doing that?
Yeah.
I'm a scientist."
I'm a scientist, man.
Yeah. What'd you think of Wells? Wells is really moody this episode.
He was, yeah, because he's made this deal with Zoom,
right?
And he knows he's made a deal with the devil, and he knows that, and he knows that most probably it's not going to do him any good. He's made the deal, but what's to keep Zoom from going back on it?
Right.
Because he's not a nice dude.
Or yeah, right. I mean, we don't know if Zoom can travel through time yet.
I'm sure he can.
So why wouldn't he
He's
just
faster than Barry, and that's how Barry moves through time.
That's right.
So, but Patty, at the end of the episode, we get revealed that Patty is leaving to go to Midway City University.
Something, yeah, right. Something she always wanted to do.
Yeah, and Barry's being a bad boyfriend.
Yeah.
So she's like,
well, he wanted to reveal to her that he's Flash. So,
yeah.
But it never happened.
He never was able to do it. It was so funny to watch this with Emma. She's sitting there going, tell her. It's like she wanted so badly.
She'll stay. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But a couple of Easter eggs in that show. The Nadell Library in the episode was named after the co-creator of the Turtle, Martin Nadell, who created him with Gardner Fox.
And so there was Turtle from the Golden Age, and there was Turtle Man from Barry Allen, who had the power to stop time. But Turtle, what was the original Turtle?
He actually was a dude with the shell on his back.
You're kidding.
It looked horrible.
Oh, my God.
It looked so horrible.
Was that like armor or like what?
I don't really know.
Did he throw it?
He was just wacky.
Oh, my Lord. Why?
But at the end of the episode, the turtle was Wells killed him.
Yeah.
Shot something up his nose.
I couldn't. So, but when he let him out, right? I was like, "What the hell?" Like,
I don't know exactly what that was. I mean, he shot something up his nose. I first thought he was just getting his blood so he could do some kind of experiment.
And then
I realized,
replicate so he could defeat Zoom with
yeah.
Yeah.
But he killed him.
For what? I wonder.
I don't know.
And is he an Earth 2 person? Did we find out if he's from Earth 2 or
no,
not?
he's from Earth 1.
So right, because he had been around
chasing him. Yeah.
for a while. That's right.
Yeah, and this is the one that they had said to her that Cisco had been chasing for a while. And
Joe was like, "Why didn't you tell us about this guy?"
Yeah, and it actually it was kind of a joke around the police department that he's chasing he's tilting at windmills. They called him Cisco de la Mancha, which was kind of funny. So everybody knew except for them. So
he's got an amazing power.
They had other stuff to do.
It was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It
made
was really
him,
cool.
especially when you saw him in real time. He looked like a speedster.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he was just slowing down time.
And he was actually moving really slowly. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he winked at Barry. I thought that was a nice little touch there.
Yeah.
He just he had to be a jerk and go.
I get you.
I got you. Yeah. And right at the end of the episode, the Reverse Flash is back.
But not as well as his original Thawne self.
Exactly.
So.
Yes. And Andrew Kressberg, who is the showrunner for the show, says that the Reverse Flash that we saw is not from Earth 2.
Oh, it's like the Reverse Flash from Earth 1?
But he's not exactly the Reverse Flash we saw disintegrate at the end of the season. It's from another timeline.
Oh, because he does say he talks to some AI, right? Or
Gideon. That used to be in his. So this is before, because my initial thought was, okay, this is the variant timeline that Barry fixed, where he killed Cisco. But at that point, Gideon was installed in that room, and he was already Wells. So he asked Gideon where the hell he is. So this is from another variant timeline.
Oh, wow.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, maybe it's the timeline that he created when he goes to kill Nora. That gets to into headache inducing.
Yeah, right. You just
territory.
You just folded. You just Russian dolled my brain.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, but it is. He's not from Earth 2. He is from an alternate timeline.
That's awesome. Well, we've been talking about the speculation that what they're calling Earth 2 could be Earth 3.
Could be Earth 3. Exactly.
Even though Jay Garrick's there, that's the one thing that's because we have not seen any other heroes yet from that place, and we're just learning about more and more villains, especially with Killer Frost and Deathstorm.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. That's going to be really cool.
I knew it was something because Robbie Amell had posted a picture of Deathstorm from the comics on his Twitter page, and I was like, is he just a fan, or are we about to see
And it could be either, because he posted something like that, and his character is dead.
Yeah.
So it could be really Deathstorm, coming back from the
dead, right? Because he's a Black Lantern, right? Necron created him, right? Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that could be. It could have went either way.
That might get murky if they try to bring in that Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
About where he came from.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
I'm sure they won't. They won't.
Just make him bad.
Yeah, exactly. Just make him bad, because that's going to open up a whole other area.
Mess.
But we also had the return of Arrow.
Yeah.
Last night, and Felicity is not the person in the grave.
No, we don't know yet.
We don't know. We know it's not her, but it's somebody who has upset her so much that she tells Ollie he needs to kill that son of a bitch.
Right, because she was then in the car, right?
Yeah.
And she can't walk.
But you couldn't tell
if she can walk or not.
Whether she can walk or not.
Yeah,
exactly.
She went into 2 surgeries in the episode.
Yeah. And they said, her mom has said she's never going to walk again. But again, don't know for sure that that's the case.
Yeah, her mom overreacts. Everything.
But you got to think about, it's obviously somebody who made their death made such a huge impression on Felicity.
Barry was there.
Barry was there, and it made such a huge impression on Felicity that she's saying you need to kill him, when she's been one of the biggest proponents of him
not
dialing it down and not killing people, because that's not who he is.
Right.
So could be her mom.
Oh.
That'd be rough.
Oh, that her mom was killed.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
Well, she's now in the mix with Quentin, so
And,
yeah. I wonder if Dark
and
kills her.
If Dark,
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
If Dark wants to get back at Lance because he gave up the position,
the headquarters.
Yeah,
that's got. I mean, that's at least the
Makes
most
sense.
logical. Yeah,
and that's why. I mean, that would be a huge impression on Felicity, so that she's saying that. That could be. It could be. So.
yeah. I mean, but then would it make sense that Barry has the connection?
He would be there as a friend and for both of them.
Yeah. So perhaps, yeah. Because
Yeah.
we don't see Diggle or anybody else. It's
No.
more of a small.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really curious. They're setting up this
Yeah.
season right.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it looks really good. So
And somehow, I gotta give it to them. The flashbacks still make sense and they're still appropriate. They're not quite yet done.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
they're
all
still
right.
advancing story. So
And it's amazing. I
Yeah.
thought for sure that it was.
it's going to start to play out. After
or
a
they're
while.
going to show the first
Or they're
season,
gonna
like
catch
Chris
her-
Carpenter said.
They're going to catch up to the first season. But yeah, it's still making sense.
Yeah.
So, but also for Legends of Tomorrow in the Legends of Flaro universe.
Yeah, it's tonight, right? Is the
That
premiere?
is tonight, exactly.
Cool.
We have cast. I don't know when he's going to appear, but they have
Oh.
cast
Yeah.
Jonathan, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. It's Shaech, maybe?
Yeah.
It's Schaeech.
Skake.
Skake?
Yeah,
I don't know. Skate?
But he's
I
going
don't
to
know.
be Jonah Hex.
He's going to be Jonah Hex.
I hope they don't make him crazy face looking like Jonah is, because that's just
Yeah, of
gruesome.
course. Yeah, well, that's
Oh.
what he is. I mean,
Did you ever watch Boardwalk Empire? Oh, well, there's a character who has the
that
missing
has the
face,
I do know that character. Yeah,
and when he takes it off, it's like, oh my god!
it's like holy crap.
I mean, like that. Like, imagine that being a normal thing in everyday life. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
World War I veteran.
Yeah. Oh no, Confederate veteran. Jonah was Confederate War veteran.
Oh, I'm sorry. In Boardwalk
In Boardwalk-
Empire.
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, right. Jonah was a Confederate
Yeah,
veteran.
and he actually time travels too. So
That's
he
right.
goes to the future.
Yeah, isn't he in the
In-
Legion for
he
a while?
Yeah,
or-
he was in Crisis.
right as
and-
a
and-
soldier of forever or whatever.
Yeah, and he got after Crisis, he got sent to the future.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it
After
was
everything
weird.
went down.
It was really weird. So having him in it makes a lot of sense.
So then, will we get Enemy Ace and like Shining Knight?
Maybe.
I mean, those are great characters. You know,
Maybe.
they'd at least be fun to see.
Yeah.
So
They may at some point run into that because I mean they could go anywhere all the way back to ancient Egypt
awesome.
because Vandal Savage has been around since then.
Okay.
So,
That's
but
great.
also Jewel State's character, Rachel Turner. Jewel State was in Firefly. She was the engineer in Firefly.
Okay.
She is going to play a character
Cool.
named Rachel Turner, who is a tech genius / roboticist who exists in a future where society is even more immersed and dependent on technology than it is now.
Oh, that
She
sounds
comes
inevitable.
she comes from a long line of inventors
Oh.
and is related to a member of one of our heroes.
It's got to be Ray Palmer.
I would think
Perhaps,
so. I
yeah.
would think so. But it's because they make the point to say when they join the team and they're pulled out of the timeline.
Yeah.
So they don't affect the future anymore. So it's something that happened before they joined the team.
Oh.
And I don't think Ray had any kids.
Nope.
So,
Well, he was shrunk
well, yeah.
for a good
But
while.
before that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. When they first said she comes from a long line of inventors, I figure, okay, there's going to be a connection with somebody, maybe Ted Cord or somebody like that.
Oh, which
but
would
it said
make
one of our
sense.
heroes. So it sounds like it's somebody on the team.
All right. I'm looking up Heatwave. His last name isn't Turner.
No.
Mick
Well,
Rory.
Yeah, but that may be like a variation. I mean, just because.
It could be a married name.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the same name.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be something else that it will bring in a larger universe, the DC universe. So
Super cool.
yeah, yeah.
This
so
is going to be a great show.
Yeah, that's
it's
tonight. So yeah, I cannot wait for that to see how they do that.
Is it on 8?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And from the world of Netflix, executives at Netflix are so enamored with John Barenthal's take on the Punisher that they're already talking about a spin-off series.
Which was not expected.
I
We're supposed to go to Heroes for Hire after this.
Yeah, and we will. This will be like a new one, not
beyond.
part of the original. And that's the big thing is like they made the agreement for the 4 series, or 5 actually, because it'd be Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and then Defender. So there's 5. This is outside that original agreement, so that's a big deal because this is not something that was part of the original thing, and it's going so well, and they like his character so much that they want to do another series.
We have like Legends of Flaro.
Yeah.
What do we call them? Like the Hell's Kitchen crew?
I think so, yeah.
Or like the Netflix and Kill?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the best one. Netflix and Kill. That is awesome.
All right. That's all I got.
Yep.
I hate when I use these things in January because I don't have any more for the rest of the year.
You used it all up.
Spoiled.
Yeah. Book it. That's it. Netflix and Kill.
That's awesome. I mean, John Bernthal looks awesome. If he's
an incredibly intense actor.
Right.
So like,
who like you worry about him.
Yeah. When he was Shane, he was crazy good.
Yeah.
And that kind of intensity fits perfectly with Frank Castle.
Cool.
Absolutely perfectly. So, I'm really excited about that. So, and John Bernthal says that the Punisher's superpower is his rage, and the fact that he's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to do what is right and what he knows that needs to be done.
I think
no matter what.
That's like a nice way of saying that he's just a psychopath.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's the thing with the Punisher. He is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
But there's a reason he's nuts.
But it's not going to be
family.
Right. It was murdered.
Yeah.
But he won't be the Vietnam vet, right? Or they're going to have to figure out that.
I don't know if he's going to. I think he's supposed to be an ex-cop.
Oh.
I think. And it could be a situation where he was undercover.
And got in too deep or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just spitballing at this point, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they'll have to have done the killing of the family off screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. And Elodie Young says that Elektra is kind of a sociopath.
Okay. That's cool.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's just kind of.
Yeah.
So, and executive producer Marco Ramirez says that everyone will be wearing, quote, kick-ass costumes.
I love that.
Because it was a question.
It's a descriptive word.
Yeah, it was a question of, okay, is Elektra going to be in her comic book outfit?
Right.
And the Punisher, we still haven't seen
the full trench coat. Yeah, like everything.
Full-on Punisher skull.
Mm-hmm.
So, he kind of wanted to address that and go, everybody's going to be in kick-ass costumes.
Cool.
So, and Jessica Jones has been renewed for season 2.
Good. I keep watching it. It's getting better.
Yeah, I need to watch some more myself.
As things progress.
Yeah.
The whole, like, Kilgrave, like, the people who have all been controlled by Kilgrave, like, all are now knowing each other and finding out about each other. And it's cool the way she's unraveling the mystery. I mean, she goes to, like, a support group where people talk about being controlled by Kilgrave, and she actually gets clues that way.
Oh, wow.
And, like, something that, like, memories that she had, even through her experience, trigger. Oh. Super cool. Okay. So they're using the flashback and, like, the sort of through the eyes of the people and Kilgrave being... It's working well.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's going to evolve to be really cool.
Cool. And Captain America Civil War, it's been rumored that multiple death scenes have been shot as a redirection.
Damn.
They've shot Peggy Carter's. They've shot Cap's. They've shot Falcon's. They've shot somebody else. I forget now who else it was.
In Civil War?
Yeah. So they've shot like 4 or 5 different funeral scenes, so nobody knows.
Oh man!
And they've also, I think it was Civil War that I heard somebody saying that they're
maybe Hawkeye.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was from. They did the same thing with Age of Ultron. They shot like funeral scenes for Hawkeye and for Quicksilver. Just to throw people off, they didn't know which one was going to die, and it ended up being Quicksilver.
Man, when people are acting these movies, that must make you crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And
I guess I'm done.
I don't remember. I don't remember if it was this. I remember seeing an interview with an actor talking about stuff like that with scripts. Anytime they do a revision of a script, they have specific misspellings that are in there. So if it gets leaked, they can look and they know whose script got leaked and what version of it.
So it's almost coded.
Yes. It's like coded in there. There's misspellings coded into the thing.
Damn.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
You got to protect your script. Like,
and I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know if that was Civil War or not, but it was some actor in like one of these big blockbuster
upcoming.
Yeah. That was saying that.
Wow.
So, but Star Trek Beyond, with the 50th anniversary of Star Trek being this year, the costume designers on the new movie have gone retro. The new uniforms look like the old school uniforms with the piping on the wrist.
Sweet.
The full long sleeve deal, little shoulder pad action, everything. They look really, really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it looks cool. You've got a real clean retro look, like the old series, and not the little shiny thing that they had like in the first movie. It was weird. And then,
that was such a strange uniform.
Yeah, it just looks shiny.
It's like, where are you going, guys? Like
shiny pajamas.
Yeah.
And there may have been an Easter egg in a recent episode of Teen Titans Go for Young Justice. In one scene behind Raven, written on a building, you can see YJ Season 3.
What? Get out.
Yep. Does it mean anything, or is it just somebody doing? Are they wanting?
No, they don't play with that.
Are they wanting a Young Justice Season 3, or are they saying one's coming?
I've got a friend, Sean Kittleson, who he's writing the Mortal Kombat comic. He writes for DC. And he also worked on the Batman Arkham City game. And he told me that, like, he's like, no, you really need to read the billboards and the movie posters because there's tons of stuff built into it.
In there.
And I even found a movie poster that like was like a Scarface type thing that had his name on it.
Oh, cool.
Just because he was a writer and participant in it. Oh, man.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
I'm so curious.
Is that them saying one's coming, or are they just wanting one? I don't want one.
They don't play.
Yeah, that was an awesome series, so I would love to see it.
Yeah, Young Justice was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, because they brought in like a Aqualad has been on the show.
And Aqualad was badass.
Oh, he was great. He looked like Nightwing though, the way they kind of drew him.
Yeah. And you got that was the great thing in the first two seasons. In the first season, you had Dick Grayson as Robin, as the leader of the team.
Yeah.
Then they transitioned when they went to season 2. It was 5 years later, and he was Nightwing, and he had kind of taken Batman's place as the leader of the Young Justice team. And so because in the first season, Batman was the one that said, "Okay, you guys are going to do this. This is your mission." And Nightwing had taken over that spot in the second season.
Like a director.
Exactly.
As Basil or Q or
exactly. Yeah. So it was nice to see that little progression. I'd love to see another season of it. So
that'd be cool.
Now the X-Men TV shows had a good news, bad news kind of week.
Oh no.
The Legion show, which is set in the early days of the U.S. government being aware of mutants, but not the public being aware. That is said to be optimistic for a 2016 pickup, and the quote, the scripts are extraordinary.
Oh, really?
Now, the other show, Hellfire, which is actually the one I'm more interested in.
Absolutely, Hellfire Club, yeah.
Yeah, it's based around a young special agent who learns that a power-hungry woman with extraordinary abilities is running a clandestine society of millionaires trying to take over the world called the Hellfire Club.
Sounds awesome.
This week, it lost its showrunners and a couple of members of the creative team, all the co-creators.
Oh.
Co-creators Evan Katz, Manny Cotto, Patrick McKay, and J.D. Payne have all left the project, and is said to be on a slower track and probably won't be getting picked up in 2016.
All right. Well, if it's still in the hopper.
It's still there.
Cool.
They're just saying it's on a slower track.
Man,
that's the one I'm more interested in.
Yeah,
so.
Black Queen, Black Tom.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, Emma Frost. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And Star Wars Rebels, they released a trailer for the second half of Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And it featured Darth Vader, Yoda, Captain Cody from the Clone Wars, Princess Leia, Mandalorians,
Awesome.
a fight between Vader and Ashoka,
Yeah.
lightsaber reminiscent of Kylo Ren,
Yeah, so it's a green one.
the cross hilt and everything,
Right.
a Sith temple, and its apparent guardian, Darth Maul.
Awesome.
I've never watched the show, and I'm excited to watch it.
Well, see, I don't get this. Darth Maul, how? Because Darth Maul has the robot legs.
Yeah, exactly.
But wasn't he killed again?
I'm not sure.
And he has like a brother too, who's like
It could
has
be
a
the brother.
funky name. Yeah.
It could be the brother. I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I've never watched. I never watched the Clone. I watched the Clone Wars movie, but never the TV show.
That's all you need to watch.
And I watched I've never watched Rebels, but watching this trailer, I'm excited. I'm ready to watch the next half of the season.
We were talking about lightsabers and like the Rebels lightsabers. We didn't quite talk about.
Yeah.
So maybe we should, do an addendum
Yeah, they got
to
some
our
pretty cool ones.
Ezra, the main young Padawan. He has a lightsaber that the hilt is the sword and a blaster.
Mm-hmm.
So he can shoot. I don't think it's like force enabled. I think it's just a sort of combo type thing.
Makes sense.
And then the Inquisitor has this crazy double bladed saber.
And that was something that they were saying that kind of leans towards that being Darth Maul at that Sith temple, who's training all the Inquisitors because they all use double-sided lightsabers.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
That's his style,
Yeah.
right? So,
and you see, is it Ahsoka? How do you pronounce her name?
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Okay.
Yeah.
You see her telling Kanan. Is that his name?
Kanan. Yeah.
Kanan. Telling Kanan about Anakin and showing him from a holocron, showing him Anakin in action.
Whoa.
And he's sitting there talking about he looks incredible, and she says you should have seen him. You should have actually seen him. And so she's talking about him. She knows he's turned, and then you see.
Well, Ahsoka was his Padawan.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have a scene where she is in the same room as Darth Vader, and it's Anakin, the guy who did the voice for Anakin in the Clone Wars, speaking and saying, "Do you know what happened to me? Do you know what?" And he said, but kind of like implying that it was her fault. Like, do you know what happened to me after you left? Oh yeah. So I mean, again, like I said, I've never watched the show, but man, I'm cranked. I'm ready to watch it.
They're handling some, yeah. And there's actually a character on the show. She has her hair changes color, but she wears Mandalorian armor.
Yeah,
and she's like a Boba Fett, like a type of a.
Well, there were a lot of Mandalorians, and there was like a couple.
Yeah.
Mandalorians in the trailer.
And then that dude I told you about, who's like real big, and from his planet, they fight with that stick that the one guy that Finn battled in Force Awakens, that
the riot thing.
Yeah, that sort of lightsaber resistant thing.
Yeah.
That was one of the episodes that I saw on the Disney Cruise.
I did see a meme this week from Star Wars, and it had a picture of Captain Phasma at the top, and then the guy that they're calling T8TR, the guy that yelled traitor and had riot thing.
Yeah.
And down at the bottom, it shows Phasma at the top, that guy at the bottom, and it says down at the bottom, it says, "You can't make a Boba Fett. It just happens." And that's the thing. They wanted Phasma to be this huge deal.
Yeah.
But it kind of fell flat. And this dude has become like unfortunately he died, but he's become like the darling because he was taking it to
toe
him.
to toe.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing with Boba Fett. He was on the screen for total 2 movies, maybe 15 minutes.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And he become this icon.
Yeah.
You can't predict that stuff.
Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
Yeah, it's just it happens. You can't create it; it just happens, and that's So it was a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty funny meme. So you can want it to happen, it just doesn't necessarily happen.
Yeah, is that the sort of consensus that Phasma fell flat as the characters?
I'd like to see a whole lot more, and I think that was the big thing that we should have gotten a whole lot more.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a novel now of The Force Awakens.
The novelization, yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
there was a lot of stuff that got revealed in that kind of answered
expand
some questions. Yeah.
Oh, I got to get that now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that is our movie and TV news, and we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back and we'll take a spin of the comic rack.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place. And then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Hello, this is Brian Selfreeze, and you have been listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Our buddy Brian Stelfreeze, who will be here for the Minicon.
That's right.
Coming up on January 30th, where we will be.
At the Grady Cole Center.
That's Grady Cole Center here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find Minicon, which is essentially, it's not mini, it's just like a one-day con.
Yeah,
so
mini-con. You got any goodies for that? Are you going to bring any good, like, of your Kapow comic stuff?
I've just finished a couple. I finished the Hulk 377, I think it was.
Cool.
Was the one where they combined all the Hulks into one.
Oh.
So you got the Hulk. You really got the credible Hulk.
Yeah.
Because he was smart. He had Banner's brain and the Hulk's strength, the Green Hulk's strength and physique.
But just no rage.
No, he had plenty of rage. He was still pissed off all the time, when he would get in a fight.
Cite your sources!
But that was one in that era. They had a really funny thing in the comic. He was fighting a guy, and he was doing the standard comic book exposition while he's beating the crap out of you.
But it's like eloquent.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And the other guy said, "Don't you ever shut up?" And he said, "Listen, I was limited to monosyllables for years.
Right.
Cut me some slack.
Smash and
cut me some slack.
Ow,
I've actually got a rocket scientist brain back in my head. Cut me some slack."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just finished that one. I just finished a really cool Silver Age one it was a Superman one with Brainiac and Lex Luthor.
Oh, cool.
And they shrink Superman down to where they're holding him in a birdcage. And then the people from Kandor come and save him.
I was going to say, yeah.
They bust out.
The mini people.
They start like with their tiny little fist beating on Brainiac. It's pretty funny. That one I finished Ghost Rider number 15, which is a 90s goodness, a glow-in-the-dark cover.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's Ghost Rider's like flaming skull, and that's the glow-in-the-dark part.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a really cool book.
Awesome.
So yeah, I just finished that one, and I think I feel like there was one more, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Suicide Squad.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, which that one, when I first looked at it, I didn't think I would be able to make anything good out of it because nobody's in costume.
Oh, right.
The cover shows Deadshot like lining up a shot, so it's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
But then when I got it and I started flipping through it, they're on some kind of mission, so nobody's in costume.
Yeah.
But I got some pretty good stuff out of it. And
cool.
The Penguin was there. I
The
didn't know
Suicide Squad?
Penguin was with the Suicide Squad.
Oh, for like moral support?
He just was running around going wah wah wah.
Because you need that.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not a day without the. Yeah.
Are you painting there at Minicon, or are you? Well, I don't even know if we'll have room.
Yeah, I suppose. I maybe I'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll have I have a bunch of new color prints.
Okay.
That I've been posting, previously black and white. So I'll have some real good goodies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. It should be a lot. If nothing else, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's coming up January 30th.
That's right.
And then we've got a couple coming up. I'll be in Morganton on February 20th.
Yep.
I forgot.
What's the next one? Is it
Lex,
Hickory?
There's Hickory is at the end of April. It's the same weekend as Charlotte Comic Con.
Oh no.
It's May 1st. Yeah, so it's going to be a rough weekend for me. So because I'll have the Hickory Con Saturday, then Charlotte Comic Con Sunday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a full.
I don't know
weekend.
if I can do that show. It's my wife's birthday. She'll kill me if I'm like,
we can't
honey,
do
I'm going to Comic-Con.
No. Okay.
She'll be like, stop by the courthouse and pick up divorce papers.
Find yourself somewhere to stay.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, and there's one in Lexington,
Cool.
North Carolina that's coming up. I forget the date, but it's coming up.
Nice.
So yeah, we're going to be all over the place. And then,
I'm
of course,
excited.
Heroes Con, we're getting ready.
Yeah, to make our move on the table.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll be with John Reyes Luna, our buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a little complex. We're gonna have a couple tables put together, and
Like, when you're a kid and you take the menus at a restaurant, and you make a little fort with and then you get your little sugars in there and you drink all the half and halves.
that's right.
Did I do that only, or?
We have a little Ninja Troll fort there.
Yeah. With pillows and blankets.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, but that's all coming up later. If you keep a look on our website, we'll have all the dates and everything where we're going to be on there. And if you're at any of these places, please stop by, talk to us. We're actually going to record a show.
Yes.
At Heroes Con this year.
Awesome.
We're going to do. I was intending to last year and it just never happened. This year we're going to do it.
Tim is just pointing at me like, we're
like
doing this.
Yeah, like
we didn't have a meeting, but we're just doing it. So
it's gonna happen.
and we're on the air, so I'm on
telling
the spot. It's
So
fine. We'll
you
do
have
it.
to agree to it now.
I'm sorry. Yes, loyal Ninja fans, we will be there.
Now my plan is all revealed.
You better be careful. The
Yeah.
karate orc might show up.
That's right. Yeah. We don't need that.
Sneeko.
All right, Sneeko. Yeah. All right, let's take a spin of the comic rack.
Meanwhile, back at the Cathedral of Wisdom, it's time for the comic rack. Hey, nice rack.
Knock it off, perv.
No, it's the latest news from the enormous world of comics. Right here on the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, we got a lot of cool stuff in the comic rack this week. First off, DC has announced another new miniseries starring Harley Quinn.
Wow.
Called Harley Quinn and Her Gang of Harleys.
Oh.
This is pretty funny.
Cool.
They recently introduced the Gang of Harleys as assistants/allies to Harley. And they all have Harley-inspired costumes and names, like Harvey Quinn.
You kidding me?
And Harlem Harley. There's no word on who the creative team will be, but number 1 will be released April 13th.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's okay.
Well,
she's been doing good.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman.
The Power Girl.
Yeah, Power Girl rather. Sorry,
Yeah.
She's
And
Harley
they're
Quinn's
also
roommate.
doing Harley Quinn's Black Book. That is like a team up book.
Right.
So yeah, Harley Quinn is huge right now.
rounds,
And then
yeah.
with the movie coming out, it's
Oh,
going to be
forget it. Yeah.
And on that note, Margot Robbie looks awesome.
Just like her. I
yeah,
mean,
she
if-
looks just like her
from the comics, from the games.
Yeah.
I mean,
it looks like her version in the movie is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, they will also release on April Fool's Day, or we release an April Fool's Day special starring Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad, written by Rob
Whoa.
Williams and illustrated by Jim Lee,
damn,
Scott Williams, and Sean Galloway.
that's awesome.
That's a big deal. DC will be running not DC. Harley will be running Evil Anonymous, a support group for villains, but at the same time using the villain scheme against them after the meetings. So, hey, she's a licensed therapist. She's
That's
a doctor.
true.
She's a PhD.
That's true.
So she can run a
Dr.
support
Quinzel.
group. Yep, Dr. Quinzel. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure when that is. Well, it's April Fool's Day is when that'll be coming out. I don't know what day of the week April Fool's Day is.
Maybe it's a Wednesday.
It
for comic book
is a
ones?
Friday, so I don't know if they'll release it on the 30th, which is 2 days before then. That's the Wednesday. Probably. That's
Yeah.
probably what they'll do.
Usually shipments don't come in
Exactly.
Tuesday to Thursday.
They
That's
just come
usually
in Wednesday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they probably
Tuesday
come in
night.
on Tuesday and then they put them out Wednesday. But
Yeah, the happy little comic store elves.
exactly, yeah. And we talked about the Captain America Steve Rogers.
You did a spoiler in the show.
Yeah, I say exactly.
How do you do that? And you're wearing a Ninja Troll shirt today.
See,
you're wearing the shirt of the band to the concert.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. And I always get it backwards. It's Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Comma Captain America.
Yeah, not Captain America, Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson.
And I keep wanting to say Steve Wilson. You could just put the two of them together. It could be Captain Falcon.
Now we're
Wilson.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, that's
and Dynamite.
That's getting to be a little much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will come out in the summer with Steve Rogers back in the red, white, and blue and kicking ass
Awesome.
the way he should.
He punch a Nazi in the first issue, and we'll be happy forever.
You got to do that.
And then there's the female Cap, who's in the Gwen verse.
Yeah.
So that's like
Miss
a whole...
America, I think is what they...
Or
Or they actually call her Captain America.
I think she's just Captain America.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about that. I like the Spider-Gwen book, but there's times I can forget because I'm also reading Secret Wars and there's variations there.
Totally.
And it's like
an inversion. Yeah, it's totally nuts.
Yeah. So it's sometimes it's hard to keep up with that, but I think it's hilarious that Spider-Gwen and Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, from different worlds meet to hang out. Like they became friends during the Spider-Verse. And they still like transport between worlds so they can hang out. Yeah.
And is Jessica Drew still pregnant?
She's pregnant, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they never explained where that came from, like who is the father and where that came from. It was just
all right.
Issue 1.
His name is Anakin. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's the midichlorians. But Marvel Comics has released a teaser with the caption "Injustice Like Lightning," with a background with lightning on it and a character silhouetted in it.
Ooh.
That looks like, and that is a modified version of the old Thunderbolts tagline.
Oh.
So, because the Thunderbolts were always justice like lightning. This is
the
injustice.
The team?
Yes.
The Thunderbolts? Okay.
Yeah. This is injustice like lightning.
Wow.
So is this a Thunderbolt team of villains?
That could be cool.
Or I'm not quite sure. They've been doing Marvel's been doing a lot of teasers like this recently.
Like really sort of minimal posters, right? Like the two we saw that was like, I forget what they said now. The messages, the black and white.
More.
Yeah.
One said "Dead No More," and the other said "Beware my sting," and that was yellow and black.
And we thought Yellow Jacket, maybe the Ghost Rider is in the other one. We haven't heard from Ghost Rider in a while.
No, I don't know. I don't know if Ghost Rider's still an ongoing thing.
A shame. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Except when Nicolas Cage played him.
He won't have any glow in the dark covers.
Yeah.
But it said the Thunderbolts series will spin out of Avengers Standoff. So there's going to be a lot coming out of that Avengers Standoff thing.
Gosh.
That should be starting, I think, next month, maybe.
Okay.
So we should get more answers soon. And from one of my favorite comics,
oh yeah,
Robert Kirkman has announced that original Invincible series artist Cory Walker will return to the series to draw an all-new, heart-wrenching, jaw-dropping story arc. Ooh. Those are his words.
Isn't that already going on in the story?
They've wrapped up. That's the thing. They've wrapped up that reboot thing
where he traveled.
Yes. The deal with that was, this story is going to follow that up. It was a reboot storyline that actually wasn't a reboot.
Oh.
A non-linear race. Basically, they were outside of time, and they could see it as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
They realized that there was an unbalance in the timeline, and Mark could fix that. So they took him back in time
and gave him a mission.
Gave him an opportunity to fix it.
But did they realize he's going to see his dad pre-villainy and stuff?
But it wasn't real. They allowed him to go back to see what he could do, but he had to choose it himself.
Oh.
So they wanted him to see what he could do.
Oh, and then if it was the right thing,
he would
act
choose
on it.
Exactly.
Did he?
He did not.
Ooh.
Because he was miserable. Because he had left a wife, or he was ripped away from a wife and a daughter. They had a baby. And she was a toddler. So she was very young, and he was looking for, he really loved being a dad, and he really loved Eve. And going back in time, he prevented the events that made her break up with the guy she was with at the time. Oh. So now they're not even together at all. Oh. And he has to watch her with somebody else and realize that now essentially he's killed his daughter. She's never going to be born.
Oh man.
And so
that's horrible.
They come to him because he's miserable. They come to him and talk to him, and he said, and they explain, we couldn't explain why we have to do this in a term you would understand. And so he gets pissed at him and goes, so you don't even try? You just basically
leave me in the dark?
Yeah, you ruin everything for me.
Wow.
And he tells them, no, I'm not getting, and they were like, oh, so you're going to give up all these people that you could save for this? And he says, yeah, basically.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's a gut-wrenching thing.
Damn. Now I know why you like this comic so much. I'm always
dude,
like,
it's
why
awesome.
do you want this Image comic? Come on, Timmy.
it's
give it up. The
absolutely
90s are over.
Yeah.
Turn into flannel.
Yeah, but, and he basically says, no, I'm not, I can't do this.
That is so cool.
So they send him back, and he's right back where they basically he was on a planet. They were on a mission on a planet, and he goes down like a little cave, and that's where they got him.
Oh, okay.
And so he comes back out. He's in that same cave. He flies out, but nobody's there. And so he takes off, flies through space back to his planet where he's living. He's not on Earth anymore. He's living on an alien planet. And he flies back to his planet, to his apartment's balcony. He sees Eve, so he drops onto the balcony and says, "Hey, I'm back." And she freaks out.
Who the hell are you? Yeah.
He's been gone 10 years. Well, they never say how long.
Yeah,
but
about that.
Yeah, because she's freaked out. He starts telling her, "Listen, I was in the past for a couple of weeks. I understand I've been gone." And she goes, "Mark, you've been gone longer than that." And then he hears a voice behind him, what looks like a teenage or close to teenage daughter, says, "Are you my daddy?"
Oh.
So,
oh man,
he's now missed his child's entire, or not entire, but a big, huge chunk of her childhood, and she doesn't even know that she doesn't know her dad at all.
Oh wow, this is like that scene in Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey has to sit and watch like the last 5 or so, or how many years of like, because he went through some time rift or whatever. Yeah. And he's shredded. I mean, he just has no. He has to just sit through it, and it's just awful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Robert Kirkman is the writer for Invincible, the guy who created and still writes Walking Dead. Yeah. And if you watch the show, you know the guy knows how to write gut-wrenching, emotional stuff.
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
It doesn't have to be all action and stuff.
Exactly. It's just like this. He had to make a choice between his family and what he knew.
Because the timeline's good,
yeah.
But the greater good is greater,
exactly.
Right? So what, as a hero, what do you do?
Yeah, and he had to make that choice.
I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And he said, "No, I can't do it. I can't do that. I can't give up my daughter and my wife.
Just to fix something.
Just to fix
aliens.
something. Yeah, and you guys can't even explain what it is I'm fixing."
Right.
So, but then he decided, okay, I can't do this. Send me back to my time. Okay. But then there's so much time lapsed. So I'm looking forward. It's an incredible book, and you should go out and get Invincible and read it if you haven't been reading it. Problem is, the last one came out in December. Next one comes out in April. I'm like, oh man, you're killing me.
Damn.
So yeah,
talk about a mid-season break.
Yeah, there's a lot of times that it can be like that. It's like 4 months in between books, and then
Kirkman's kind of busy.
He is. He's got other stuff to do. So.
Come on, Timmy.
Yeah, but it's just killing me. It's so good. I want to read it.
Your invincible drip.
Exactly. I know. I mean, that was the thing when I first got into it. Somebody had mentioned that Invincible was really good.
Yeah.
So it was on. At the time, it was probably on like issue 110 or something like that.
Oh.
So I went, got trade paperback, got number 1.
Started looking.
And I started and it could not stop.
Ooh.
Same thing as Walking Dead. When I started reading that, and I just tore through 100 issues, and then I get up to like real time, and it's like, now I got to wait, and it's not just a month. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. It's like, oh my god,
dude, you are like a weed eater of
I read fast.
Reading. I don't know how you do that. And you remember it all. Like
tear through stuff.
That's an amazing habit. You got that bear trap memory.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you haven't read Invincible, go out and do what I did. Get the trade paperbacks and start from the beginning and go through it.
But what Tim doesn't tell you is that in the time that he was reading Invincible, Emma had aged 10 years.
That's right. Yeah. And I came out of my room and she went, "Are you my daddy?"
Yeah.
But we're talking about stuff that comes out in April. April solicitations for Marvel are out, and Invincible Iron Man number 8.
You need techno for this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you see Iron Man, War Machine, and Spider-Man.
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Sorry.
And the Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Cool.
Are teaming up, so that should be interesting. And I think the issue is called War Machines.
Oh.
So, the Mighty Thor number 6. Gives us Throwback Thor's Day with a tale of
that's funny.
A young Thor adventuring in the age of Vikings, and Loki conjures up another dark and powerful enemy, Viking Hulk.
Awesome.
Holy crap.
Dang.
Just that phrase right there is
that's a solicitation.
Holy crap. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Captain Marvel number 4 sees Carol's command of Alpha Flight slipping away. Apparently she's in charge of Alpha Flight now.
I don't even think they knew.
No, yeah. I don't even think they knew they were still a team. But you will get, in April, you will get Deadpool 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And it's Deadpool versus Sabretooth.
Oh, man.
Take my money.
Damn, that's going to be a great fight.
Take my money, because that is going to be cool. Yeah. But those are all the things that are coming up in April.
Awesome.
And that is our spin of the Comic Rack. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to explore the multiverse.
Misty Borderland.
Hi, I'm Louis Black, and I'm a big supporter of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and its mission to cure CF. People ask me, Louis, what's your personal connection to CF anyway? Well, I don't have one. I'm just passionate about finding a cure. The CF Foundation has made amazing progress. People are living longer, healthier lives today because of innovative new treatments made possible through the foundation. But that's not enough. We need a cure, and we need it yesterday. The progress we have made is a direct result of the dedication and donations of folks like you and me. There's still more that needs to be done. Oh, no. I knew it. He wants our money. Well, yeah. I feel like an idiot for asking, but aren't you just going to throw some of it away each week on something stupid? So why not throw some of it our way? You'll feel better about yourself, and I won't have to come to your home and yell at you. Support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and help make CF stand for Cure Found.
You're listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Like you angry? Dr. Banner, we need you angry.
Smash!
That'll do. The Ninja Troll Digicast. The only podcast with a kick.
All right, welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. We've just smashed everything in the room. We get anytime that Hulk thing plays, we start tearing stuff up. And
I can't help it.
Kick the table over, and it's just what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
You wouldn't like me when I'm waiting.
That's right. That's what we do with the Ninja Troll Digicast. All right, now it's time to head for the Misty Borderlands for Exploring the Multiverse segment.
Now it's time to explore the multiverse. On the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, this is our ongoing Exploring the Multiverse segment where we've started way back at Flash 123, the Flash of Two Worlds.
Yep.
And then we couldn't just be satisfied with one world. We had to keep folding in more and more and more and more and more.
What did we tally up pre-crisis Earths? How many did I get?
Oh, there was
27 or 28 of
yeah,
them?
I think so. There was a
ton of Superman ones that were just really kind of one-shots and just real stupid
they
ones.
Were just, and that's the thing. Every time they created one like that, they needed to create a world that it had to be.
One. Yeah. Right.
So they had to keep track of all those, and that poor bastard that had to read all those comics.
Yeah,
and take notes for everything. For
Perez and Wolfman. Yeah.
Oh
man. Yeah. What a job.
Yeah. It's a good job, but then at the same time, you think about all the crap he had to read.
Oh man.
He's
still waiting for his X-ray specs.
Yeah. There's plenty. I mean, there's plenty of great comics, but there's plenty that were not so good. And you imagine having to read it and take notes about like what's going on in this world and in this comic.
I mean, I I did that a little bit, and it was
Yeah.
crazy.
It's not necessarily good.
No, not. Some stories I was just like, damn, if I didn't have to do this for the show, I would totally just stop right now.
Exactly, yeah.
But I can't.
You just have to.
I got to do it.
You got to tap out at some point. But that's, see, we don't do that, so you can.
Exactly.
It's all for you, people.
Yeah.
But this week, it's Crisis Times 5.
Yes.
Which is another Grant Morrison goodie. So,
It is, yeah. So we last read the second Crisis, which was a run of Animal Man that Grant Morrison did. And now this is him in his JLA book. So it's not Justice League of America, it's just the acronym, JLA. And it's numbers 28 to 31. And I forget the year on this.
It was 90s. I remember
96 or something, or 97,
like that, yeah.
I think it was. So essentially, we have the illustration by Howard Porter, who I was pretty impressed with his art. He had like what I like to call a fluffy Perez style.
Okay.
Look at the characters. Right, pull open the comic. You'll see characters look like I don't know how to describe it. They look buff, but it looks like you go up to them and be like, and like they'd be squishy a little bit. That was the best way to describe them. But they're great anatomy. Everybody's square jaw and tough and really macho. And
everybody's going. Arr!
But I think this illustrator was chosen, Howard Porter, because there's so much JSA.
Okay.
Excuse me, in this story. So I think they wanted to have that, what I call 30 strong type of look.
Yeah.
A bit to it. But this story is generally called an homage to the original sort of Crisis crossover. I mean, hadn't had one in a while, and I think his Animal Man one was just sort of a fun adventure. But this one was really trying to be a real Crisis, and honestly, I think that was his undoing. I think this made this story just fall slightly short of being epic, really.
Yeah.
Because what it did is that it took Crisis regulars, Johnny Thunder and the Thunderbolt, and their world, the Fifth Dimension.
Yeah.
And sort of brought them into the limelight. And this story isn't about really time or anything like that. It's more about magic.
But is Johnny Thunder and the Thunderbolt really something that needs to be brought into the limelight?
I don't know.
I mean,
Grant thinks so.
Yeah, it
was a cool character. I mean, if you think about it, the Thunderbolt's responsible for the Black Canary, like her origin story. Yeah. Which is kind of cool, and he created a pocket universe, probably one of the first pocket universes in the Crisis story that got wiped away immediately with some weird dudes dressed up as the characters, right? Green Lantern with a half stash. And,
yes, the little pencil mustache. It looks like Snyder from One Day at a Time.
Yeah, right. I'm here to fix your water. So the thing is, and this is where I lacked the context, and maybe would make this a better story, but there was two stories, the Strength in Numbers arc and then the World War III arc.
Okay.
Which occurred before and after this. So I was just like, okay. So, yeah, I'm totally committed to the Ninja Troll Digicast, but that was a buttload of comics to read just to understand this seemingly good story, pretty good story. So what's kind of cool is if you like Harry Potter, there's this sort of magical thing going on where like a group called the Jinn, D-J-I-N-N, are sort of set free. They're like curses, but their evil spirits are embedded in objects.
Oh.
And that's how sort of like the genie thing occurs. So we find Oracle, who's now a floating green head. And we get from Our Man, who's from the 853rd century. He's the 853rd century Our Man. Has now warned the Justice League that there will soon be a conflict which brings beings from the fifth dimension. Right?
Now, you say Oracle. That's not...
they just
Barbara,
call it Oracle.
It's not Barbara Gordon.
Not that I know of. Yeah, it's a head. It looks like an AI. So you'll see it. It's the first few pages of that.
It may be something that she's using just to hide who she is.
Could be.
So it might be.
Could be. Yeah, it could be like an avatar.
Other than Batman and the Bat family, I don't know if anybody else knows who she is.
Yeah.
So maybe.
But you see a picture of the floating head, so there's no mention of it being Barbara.
Everybody's got a big old jaw in this one.
And they're beefy. Look how beefy they are.
Yeah, they're beefy. And but everybody's got like a jutting lantern jaw.
Even the ladies are like
even the ladies. They got the HGH baby.
Yeah. HGH. You're ridiculous, man. So the reason why they think that this is occurring, well, Our Man says it, is because there's reports of pink lightning in Keystone City, right? So it's starting to begin. So Alan Scott's a big player in this. We find out he says, "Call me Sentinel."
Yes.
He's got sort of a new name. Wonder Woman is Hippolyta.
Yeah.
And then we have
this.
this.
Wasn't Diana? It was when Hippolyta
took over the mantle.
Yeah.
And then Zoriel, right? Zauriel is this sort of unique character who plays a pretty big role in this.
I don't really. He looks almost a lot like Azrael.
Yeah, you'd said
because
that.
he has the flaming sword. So I'm not sure where he came from, but Plastic Man was part of the Justice League at this point.
Yeah,
that's an odd one.
You'll find out about him, which is interesting. Zoriel is around, so I thought of him as like the Hawk guy from what's that movie? Flash Gordon, sort of like that. But anyway, he's around. He's on the squad, and we have JLA and JSA. Again, what's really great about this story is there's really wonderful spread panels. Great close-ups, like some of the most dynamic comic art I think I've seen, and I think that's where Morrison probably said, "Hey, let's keep this kind of crisis-like and not so much the traditional '90s style, I guess, which was a little different." So our big baddies in this story are an evil genie of Yeez, right? YZZ, who's the pink genie or Thunderbolt that Johnny Thunder would command, which is now transferred through a pen through Jay Garrick to a young man named JJ Thunder. I told you this, that
JJ Thunder.
Yeah, so he picks up one of the magical objects. That's like a Horcrux, right?
Okay.
So that's the Harry Potter reference that made me sort of understand, magical embodiment inside of an object, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then a villain called Triumph, who's fairly new. In fact, I sort of thought, oh wow, because he has a big T on his chest, that I thought like maybe he was like a bad Johnny Thunder, sort of coming back. But it's not the case. He's just a newer character. So a quick thing on Triumph is that later during the DC's 1990s resurrection of the JLA ongoing series, Triumph was destitute and a failure. He was actually a JLA member, resorting to selling stolen League items to supervillains to pay his rent.
Yikes.
Because of this, he came under the influence of an evil fifth dimension imp named Lix, LKZ, who's the bad genie, similar to the one possessed by Golden Age Justice Society member Johnny Thunder. So that's sort of the premise of that as to why he's a bad dude, and all that stuff. So all right, so now in Chicago, right, we're going to sort of jump around. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Triumph is trying to sell some of the items that he took from the JLA trophy room where when he left. Instead, the people he's trying to sell them to try to kill him. In response, he lets a genie named Leaks out of a pen, which is one of the items. And then Lix tells Triumph he can give him 3 wishes. All right? So Triumph's first wish is to become the good Triumph again. And then we cut away in Central City. Okay, now the bank building comes alive and starts smashing things and eating things. You got to see this face on a building. It's kind of awesome.
I just hit it.
Isn't it great? That is awesome. That was like a good little fun thing there.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, this is sort of like what sets up the first and ends the first issue.
You notice the name of the bank?
What is it called?
It was Infantino Bank and Trust.
Carmen Infantino.
Carmen Infantino.
Oh my God.
Very
yeah.
nice.
R.I.P. Huh? Yeah. Aw.
DEFCON 4, guys.
Yeah. It was just really funny. Yeah. So that was like a fun kind of like first wackiness type of deal in this initial story, which is really cool. Yeah, sort of. All right. So now issue 2. This is a 4-part miniseries, and we get in the beginning a great Crisis first spread, which I thought was like really great for for an opening issue.
Yeah,
really fun, reminiscent of sort of that original, all the heroes, close-ups, big battle scene, and the angry building. Yeah. And then you see the roll call, right? You've got Superman, Flash, Huntress, Zoriel, Plastic Man, right? Who you said, really?
Yeah.
In the JSA side, we have Sentinel, who is the name of Alan Scott, Jay Garrick Flash, Ted Grant, Wildcat, Hippolyta, the Spectre, and then introducing J.J. Thunder. He's a Thunderbolt, so he's got to be on that team. So reality starts to bend in Keystone City, and Jakeem, right, J.J. Thunder, runs to the JLA.
Okay, Jakeem. That was
Jakeem.
what I was trying to remember. I knew it was a distinct name.
Yeah.
That was
That's his
Jakeem.
real name.
Okay.
And then J.J. Thunder is his fun name.
This is nom de plume.
Yes. Yeah. That's what they call me. So he runs to the JLA saying, I didn't do this, guys. It wasn't me. I promise.
I didn't do it. Not it.
Yeah. He's like, come on. It's a different color. It's not pink. That's important because the Leaks is a blue genie. He's like a blue Thunderbolt.
Okay.
And now Flash and Green Lantern are trying to sort of contain all this nonsense.
The giant bugs.
Yeah, right. You see with the big bug spray?
Yes.
Which is a lot of fun.
Green Lantern makes bug off.
Yeah.
A big giant can of bug off.
And it works.
It
apparently.
works, yeah.
Yeah.
The bat shark repellent.
But then Plastic Man is like telling jokes, and he like even dresses up as a genie and stuff. And then like the building like takes him and crunches him. But then look what happens on the next page. He dies.
Oh.
He gets like fried or turned to stone or something. I couldn't quite tell.
Wow.
Because they don't say. It's just.
They actually killed Plastic Man?
Yeah, right? It's like.
Wow.
Well, come on, it's like, so there's our tragic death, Plastic Man.
There you go.
All right. It'd be great if there was an issue of like somebody holding Plastic Man and he's all melted.
He's all felt.
That'd be wonderful. Cool. But now things start to take place in space. So we're going to be on the Watchtower and on the moon in a few scenes. Mm-hmm. So now on a lunar base, Captain Marvel arrives and asks Superman to let him inside. And then they're going to talk about what they're going to do for a team up. And then, meanwhile, we're back in New York, and Triumph has used his mind control power to call Gypsy and the Ray to his side. So he gets them to sort of help him out. And they're about to go now to the JLA moon base. Now, Green Lantern and Zoriel have traveled to an astral plane to try and free the Spectre, who you see is like frozen in rock, right, in Rockonite. Yeah. Oh, just you wait. I got a really good meme coming up for some carbonite.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be what happens to Shniko, the karate orc. He may or may not be frozen in carbonite.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay. Now inside the JLA base, we're gonna start to get into it and have the team up occur. Captain Marvel knocks out Superman. Just hits him like Shazam. Triumph, Ray, and Gypsy arrive at the base after Captain Marvel leaves now for the fifth dimension. So there's starting to become like where the genie's starting to play tricks on people, and of course it's like all this crap just goes crazy. And like this is what sort of Grant Morrison, he's been known to stack the crisis on top of crisis.
Yeah.
So this is a real sandwich of injustice with a pickle. And now Triumph knocks out Our Man, who's Matthew Tyler. I guess he's the one from the 825th century, I suppose, and seats himself in Superman's his chair. And then Steel now teleports aboard, so we have Steel Superman. Now, back in Keystone City, Jakeem lets out his genie, Yeez, and the two genies begin to battle. So he says, "Say you," and it comes out of the pen, and it's a really cool, and it's a great scene where he emerges. Yeez, right? He's the original Thunderbolt.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And they have a great fight. I mean, they like rip parts of each other off each other and stuff, and he eats the blue genie eats part of Yeez at one point. You see that?
Yikes.
That's interesting. Yeah. So that sort of gets us towards the end of issue 2, and now we are in part 3, issue 30, which is this is 99, right? We should have mentioned that was the date there. So almost at the time of the millennium. So now Crisis Times 5, part 3, Worlds Beyond is the subheading. On the Justice League of America lunar base, Triumph knocks Steel through a wall. And he's got his powers back, so he's a toughie. And Steel shrinks his costume and escapes through the air duct. I didn't know Steel could do that.
I didn't either.
That's kind of cool, I guess. Now reality is starting to bend, so like some wacky things are going to occur once we get towards the fifth dimension, because elements of the fifth dimension are coming into our dimension, so it's making things strange. And we'll find out who the real big baddie is, because there's always got to be the sleeper villain, right? As we've known in.
It's a standard operating procedure for a crisis story.
Exactly. It's a trope. It's a meme. It's all that great stuff. So now in Keystone City, Yeez, the Thunderbolt, and Leaks, the other Thunderbolt, fight one another. And this is what I was saying. They eat parts of each other and punch each other, and all sorts of fun. It's a little zany, they're fighting, but it's intense, which is cool. And then now in the fifth dimension, which gets really, really weird, Captain Marvel and Green Lantern team up against Quisp. Now, Quisp is the real baddie.
Okay.
And he is sort of orchestrating all of this stuff. Like, he sort of took all of this, sort of made a lot of this occur, all this sort of breakdown between things. Let's see here. Quisp now traps them in the fifth dimension and travels to the third dimension, which is our world.
Okay.
And Quisp tells, Quisp tells the JLA that if they wish to stop this war between the two genies that will destroy their world, one of them must sacrifice themselves. You got to always sacrifice yourself. He asks them to choose, and now Triumph is getting set to lead Gypsy and the Ray out of the lunar base to save the world. Unknown to him, Batman and Aquaman are waiting on the other side of the door. And that's a cool scene. They're kind of really creeping behind the you can see it here. Yeah, they're waiting just as Triumph is ha! And I don't know if you can see, but he melted Wonder Woman and
I did see that, yeah.
And Flash before, so we're seeing a lot of deaths. I mean, this is kind of really going on here, which is kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, I got to the Aquaman and Batman are waiting on him.
Isn't that cool?
It's not going to be a good day for you when you come through that door.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah. So now, let's see. Issue 31 is the last one of the series, and it's called Gods and Monsters, right? Which is a DC animated movie.
Yeah.
Which came out pretty recently. So now we have Zoriel and Green Lantern Alan Scott managed to free the Spectre. And then back on the moon, Aquaman and Batman fight Triumph. I guess they said, surprise, we're here. Yeah. And his mind-controlled compatriots, the Ray and Gypsy. Triumph and his company defeat Aquaman and Batman. Quisp gets tired of waiting for the Leaguers to make the decision about who to sacrifice. And he just kills Wildcat.
Yikes.
He's like, choice made. And they're this is what he must sound like. Because he's a little sort of, little smarmy looking kind of bastard type dude.
Shoot a hostage, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's real impy looking and stuff.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Mixoplex.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was going to be in this story. I didn't see him. Mixoplex.
Because Fifth Dimension is where he comes from, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And Quisp is one of his people.
One of his guys,
I suppose. Yeah. So, Jakeem Thunder now takes down Quisp, ending the battle between the two genies. On the moon, Superman wakes up and now fights Triumph. Hey, what are you doing here? Now, Steel has adapted the Watchtower to become his armor, which is one of the coolest looking scenes.
Holy crap.
Which at first I thought he was Cyborg. I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's Steel. And you can see he's he's pretty much jacked into the system, both mechanically and digitally, which is kind of cool. And he uses this to sort of help Superman defeat Triumph, because I guess Superman wasn't going to win. Now the Spectre arrives and is about to kill Triumph when Zoriel stops him. And now back in Keystone City, Wildcat just comes back to life and telling everybody that he was given 9 lives in 1945.
He's a cat. Get it.
And that's where they lost me, And I will say the final scene, you got to go to the last page where you see Triumph frozen.
Yeah.
In a container type deal.
Yeah, it's pretty twisted.
I guess because
founding member of the JLA. Yeah. Maintain it 60 degrees below zero.
Yeah, right. Just in case.
Got a little sign.
And then the other sort of cool thing is after the Blue Genie is defeated, Yeez starts to appear purple. Which is kind of cool. So I guess he sort of absorbed some of the powers of the bad guy. So yeah, pretty good story. It had some flaws and that sort of thing. But I think sort of all in all, this is Morrison's sort of warm up for Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Where
So
he gets
next is Countdown to Final Crisis.
next is Countdown to Infinite Crisis.
Infinite Crisis, okay,
which is a one issue sort of fatty that has like a lot of, it's like 50 pages or so or whatever, and they sold it for $1.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got it at Heroes for $1. He was like, he's like, it's $1. I was like,
all right, cool.
Cool, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got it, and next week we'll have that countdown, which I think is real nice because we're out of the sort of standalone Crisis stories being in these little story arcs to now being full blown year long type things like we had with Crisis on Infinite Earth. So I guess you refer to this somewhat as the second Crisis, Infinite Crisis, even though there was one called
It's the second part of the Crisis trilogy.
Yeah.
That's because Crisis on Infinite Earth, Infinite Crisis, and Final Crisis are like the three parts of the final countdown.
Was that inappropriate?
No, it's never inappropriate.
Yeah.
So that's the three parts of the Crisis trilogy.
And that's what we have left, Tim. So after
we have the Countdown to Infinite Crisis, then Infinite Crisis, then Final Crisis.
Yeah, I mean.
And I guess Convergence. We need to.
That's right. Yeah, and then Convergence, and I think we'll do that again. Reread it with context, and then we'll. I just actually dug out. I have all of the spin-off series, all the ones at least I got. So that kind of gets us to that point. And then
we should do Flashpoint too.
Yeah, I suppose because that's a multiverse story.
Yeah, exactly, and that changed everything. That was a big, overranging, universe-changing thing.
Yeah, was 52 like that too, or
no? 52 was the
what happened.
The
right?
miniseries, 52 was what happened in between, like after Infinite Crisis, because there was like
the missing year.
The missing year,
right?
And that's what happened in the missing year. Was
cool.
52.
So we'll have to make sure that we have Flashpoint sort of in context.
Yeah.
So I'll look up.
And Flashpoint was really good.
Yeah.
It was a good series.
I have it.
And a lot of the side, some of the side books were better than others, but like the Batman side book was really, really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It came out after Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you knew that. All right.
That was in 2011. That's what gave us the New 52. At
Cool.
the end of Flashpoint.
Yeah, they call it the post-Flashpoint era.
Yeah.
Which is after. Blackest Night is in there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those aren't really.
There's not really a Crisis crossover. I mean, it's.
No, it's more of a Green Lantern story.
Yeah.
Hey, there is also a Countdown to Final Crisis.
Okay.
Story as well. Yeah, it's a weekly series that started following the end of 52.
Oh, okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll make sure I get that.
Yeah,
so we've got about 4 or 5 pieces left, which will be good. And then, gosh, what do we do?
I don't know.
We'll have to go to the Marvel multiverse.
Yeah, it's not nearly as expansive as but they did have alternate universes. So even before the Ultimate, they did have other ones. So
the What If series was probably the little pockets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this has been your bartender at the Misty Border Lounge.
Misty Borderland Cafe.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Vanishing Points, I guess, whatever the ones were.
That is our Exploring the Multiverse segment. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our showcase on the Starship Enterprise.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
Hey guys, let's play some video games.
This new dad plays video games with his sons, but the challenge feels like he's lifting a metric ton.
So many buttons.
His avatar just stares at the walls, twists and turns and somehow falls.
Help me!
He's tangled up in the controller's cords.
I just don't understand this crazy digital world.
Crazy, crazy digital world. Zeros and ones. But the love from his kids is totally apparent. Ooh. See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
You should have just played catch.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Tom Lyle. I'm the artist of such comics as Spider-Man, Batman, Robin, and this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. The weather outside may be frightful, but the Ninja Troll Digicast is delightful.
And you're spiteful.
Oh, I am often very spiteful.
With your spoilers.
Or as my daughter tells me, I'm hateful.
Really? Oh, man. Yeah, you got a teenager, brother.
Yeah, when I say something she doesn't like, you're hateful.
Oh. Getting into your morale and stuff.
But to be fair, usually I am. So. It's true. But
man.
now, this being the 50th anniversary of the premiere of the original series, Star Trek. Awesome. It happened on September 8th, 1966 was the premiere. This being the 50th anniversary of that, this whole year we're going to be periodically doing different showcases on different parts of the series. And I absolutely love Star Trek, have always loved Star Trek.
You got the Super HD versions, right? And you're like, I hate seeing the garbage mats and the strings and stuff in the remastered edition.
In the remastered Star Trek stuff.
Oh, you said the lighting.
Really good.
The lighting that you didn't see on TV,
because
right?
they shot it in 36 millimeter.
Yeah.
So they lit the set for like a movie set, and they had so much stuff that never came across on TV because by the time it gets to your TV,
it's so crunched and
lined. The signal's been just mangled left and right. You don't see all this stuff. So when you get that HD version and you see what they originally wanted you to see, oh, it's awesome.
You're like,
absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's something that I can always. It's funny. I always say, if ever I'm sick and I have to stay home, I watch Star Trek.
But after The Price is Right, come on.
Come on down. No, but that's kind of the thing I do. I don't know why. It's just something. If I'm going to be stuck at home, I watch Star Trek.
Nice.
And whether it's original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, it's just I love sitting down, and I can still watch those episodes years later and still enjoy them because they're good, well put together science fiction. For the most part.
The science fiction is a cradle of time type of day.
It's Spock's brain. No, that's one you don't watch.
No, not with science. Yeah.
No, I don't care if if you feel perfectly fine, you don't watch Spock's brain. Just don't do it. It's a bad episode. It was the third season of the original series. Yeah, there's some that were still good, but most of them were just not good at all.
They should have brought on a Batgirl.
Yeah, they should have.
So tell us about these ships. I'm really so curious about.
Yeah, so we're this is our first Star Trek showcase that we're gonna have here. So it's time for our showcase segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ninja Troll Digicast proudly presents the Showcase.
All right, this is our showcase segment where we shine the Ninja Troll spotlight on different elements each week. And as we were saying, this being the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, this is our first one on the Starship Enterprise because there's been several.
Yes.
That's the only. It hasn't been in each one because there's been different. There's been Voyager and DS9.
True.
But it's kind of the recurring character in most of the series is a starship named Enterprise.
Yeah.
So we want to go right back to the beginning, to the original series. For the first ship, art director Matt Jeffries was the primary designer of the original Enterprise. In Gene Roddenberry's first outline draft for the series, it was actually called the Yorktown.
Oh.
Not real sure why it got changed to Enterprise. But Jeffries' experience with aviation helped imbue the design with what he called aircraft logic, although he confessed to have taken some inspiration and artistic license from electric stove coils.
Oh. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But if you think about, the little the tubes that they used as tubes to work on things on the ship, they were called Jeffries tubes.
Yeah.
Matt Jeffries.
Oh,
was the
I always wondered why that was
designer.
Like,
Yeah.
who's named after? Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
that was a tribute to him.
Nice.
Because he designed, he pretty much designed the Enterprise.
Awesome.
And so the registration number, or for the registration number, the NC was part of the International Aircraft Registration Code for planes in the United States, and the second C was added because the Soviet Union's space program used the CCCP designation.
Yeah.
And Jeffries believed that any major future space projects would be a combined international effort. So that combined the two. So we got the NCC.
Interesting. What a communist.
In the fictional universe, the NCC stood for Naval Construction Contract.
Oh.
Now, the numbers, the 1701, it had two functions. It represented the first ship of a 17th Federation cruiser design.
Mm-hmm.
And also, most importantly, the digits were unlikely to be misread like 6, 8, or 9.
Okay.
Those could be misread easily.
Yes.
In several episodes, it's the USS is referred to as United Spaceship. There's several instances that Kirk says the United Spaceship Enterprise. So that's what the USS stands for. The ship itself was built from 2243 to 2245 and was commissioned in 2245. It was a Constitution-class ship with a cruising speed of Warp 6, although Warp 7 was the maximum safe speed. Warp 8 was tolerable for a brief period, and Warp 9 was at extreme risk. For defenses, it had deflector shields, and weaponry included phaser banks and photon torpedo launchers. Propulsion was provided by maneuvering thrusters, subspace impulse engines, and the warp drive powered by a matter-antimatter warp core. It was 289 meters in length, and the ship's components were built at the Starfleet Division of the San Francisco Naval Yard and assembled in orbit. And it had a crew complement of 428.
Wow.
The first captain was Robert April. After him, Captain Christopher Pike commanded the Enterprise for about a decade before he was promoted to fleet captain. And, of course, succeeding Pike was Captain James T. Kirk. Kirk commanded the ship on a 5-year mission of exploration. On return from the mission, Kirk was promoted to admiral, and the Enterprise went through an 18-month refit. After the refit, the ship was somewhat larger at 305 meters long. So it got actually a little longer. The nacelles were longer. So it was a little longer then. The new captain was Will Decker, who was the son of Commodore Matt Decker, who was on the original show. He was the guy that went crazy with the Doomsday machine.
Oh.
Yeah. And he crashed.
Decker, yeah.
Yeah, he was whacked out, crazy. His son, Will Decker, oversaw the majority of the refit until the approaching V'ger probe caused Admiral Kirk to retake command, with Decker remaining as first officer. Decker eventually merged with V'ger and went off to be his own new life form.
Yeah.
The Enterprise then went on a second 5-year exploration mission with Kirk in command. But Admiral Kirk, he was still an admiral.
Admiral,
yes. The Enterprise was then converted into a training ship, and Spock is promoted to captain. But again, Kirk takes command to investigate the problems with Project Genesis. The Enterprise is badly damaged by the USS Reliant after Reliant was hijacked by Khan Noonien Singh. Captain Spock was able to save the ship, but lost his life in the process. The Enterprise returned to Space Dock to find that the Enterprise had been marked for decommissioning. In an attempt to recover Spock's body, Admiral Kirk led his crew in stealing the Enterprise and returning to the Genesis planet. There, they were attacked by a Klingon ship, which inflicted mortal damage to the ship, leading Kirk to destroy the Enterprise by activating the self-destruct system. So that was the end of the first Starship Enterprise. Then the Enterprise A, it's usually referred, actually the name is Enterprise, but it's NCC 1701A.
Okay.
So it's usually referred to as the Enterprise At the end of the events of Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, the crew and the recently demoted Captain Kirk are given a new ship, the Enterprise A, which is NCC 17018. The ship is a Constellation-class ship, just like the refitted original. Before it was commissioned as the Enterprise, some sources say that it had formerly been the USS Yorktown, or the newly built but not commissioned USS T-Ho, or the also newly built USS Atlantis. So it kind of depends on where you look to see, or what you believe, which one, like it had, whether it was originally another ship that had been refitted, or whether it was a full-on new one.
That was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be something else, and then they changed the name when the Enterprise was lost.
Gotcha.
In Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, the ship is dispatched to rescue hostages on Nimbus 3, and Spock's brother, Sybok, who was a Vulcan renegade,
I remember,
hijacked the ship and take it through a horrible movie. I'm not even going to get into any of that. Such a horrible
God's
movie.
Planet. Come on.
Yeah. The only good thing out of that is McCoy saying, you don't just walk up to the Almighty and ask for his ID.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing out of the whole movie. After this, in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, the Enterprise becomes embroiled in a conflict with the Klingons, and with the help of the Excelsior under the command of Captain Sulu.
Yeah.
Drinking his tea. He had his pinky out drinking his tea in the captain's chair. They defeat the Klingons and save the Federation president from an assassination attempt. There's no official notice of what happened with the ship after that, but there were several mentions of it being the last voyage of the Enterprise. And at the end of the movie, Uhura receives communication from Starfleet ordering them to space dock to be decommissioned. Kirk ignores that and sets, it was like third star from the left, straight on the morning. But he did say in his final log that the Enterprise would be left in the care of another crew. Mm-hmm. So it may have just been the crew stepping down, or it may have been the ship being decommissioned.
I mean, we don't know.
We don't really know. Yeah exactly.
Because what was the next movie after
Generations?
Generations.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, the Enterprise B was actually launched later that year. So I kind of think that they did decommission the A.
Okay.
Because B was getting ready to be launched. Now, Enterprise B was an Excelsior-class ship and was commissioned in 2293 at the beginning of the movie Star Trek Generations. And that was
a different captain, right?
It was John Harriman.
Yeah.
Was the captain of B. On the launch, the ship under the command of John Harriman had retirees Captain Kirk, Montgomery Scott, and Pavel Chekhov on board. That was, I think, was awesome because it obviously they had been. It was like a media thing. The media was there to see Kirk and Scott and Chekhov on board.
I remember that.
The launch for B.
Yeah.
It's the first Enterprise in like 50 years or 40 years or whatever without him in command. And so they're making a big deal about it. And it had been rushed into launching, and everything was like, the tractor beam's it doesn't work. It's supposed to be installed Tuesday. Everything
was all, it was
going to
like
be
bureaucraded and budgeted. Yeah, right, next
exactly.
Tuesday.
Yeah, everything was next Tuesday.
Like the cable company will be there in the next light year or so.
Yeah. But during that original launch, it was pressed into service to rescue two ships that came in contact with the Nexus energy ribbon.
Yeah.
During that rescue, Kirk goes to deflector control to alter the deflector dish, and that section of the ship is struck by the ribbon, and Kirk is sucked into the Nexus.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the one with Malcolm.
Yes, McDowell.
McDowell.
Yeah, and he is at that point he's presumed dead. That was when they thought that he was killed. Also on board at the launch, the helmsman was Demora Sulu, who was Hikaru Sulu's daughter.
Oh.
Yep. And actually, Chekhov introduces her to Kirk, and he tells her, it wouldn't be the Enterprise if it didn't have a Sulu at the helm. So it was a pretty cool moment. She actually, in 2311, she actually succeeded Harriman as the captain of the Enterprise B when he stepped down. After her, the next captain was William George, And then the final captain was Thomas Johnson Jr. The ship was lost and presumed destroyed in 2329. So it actually had a pretty long career. It was like 36 years.
What was this captain's name?
Which one?
Of the one you just said, John
Harriman was the
John Harriman. Then
the original captain.
Who was the captain you said?
Demorasulu was captain
Took
after
over.
him.
Okay.
Then William George was after her, and then the final captain was Thomas Johnson Jr.
And this is of the B.
Of the B, yes,
Okay.
Enterprise B.
Cool.
Then Enterprise C was commissioned in 2344.
Yeah,
So it was a good 14 years after B was lost.
And was this in a movie?
It actually showed up in an episode of Next Generation.
Oh, because it was an Enterprise from the past.
Yes.
Cool.
It was actually, the episode was called Yesterday's Enterprise.
Oh, wow.
It was an ambassador class starship, and it was commanded by Captain Rachel Garrett.
Yep.
That year, the year it was commissioned, the Enterprise responded to a distress call from the Klingon outpost on Narenda 3 that was under attack by the Romulans. The Enterprise was believed to be lost during the battle. They were actually pulled into a temporal rift and ended up in the year 2366, where they ran into
TNG.
Yeah, where they ran into Enterprise D.
Cool.
The crews of both ships realized that the timeline that they were in was the result of C being missing from the battle. The ships were attacked by Klingons, and Captain Garrett was killed, with Lieutenant Richard Castillo assuming command of the ship. It was determined that they needed to return to 2344, so they went back into the time rift, taking Tasha Yar with them, and fixed the timeline. That's why you end up with a Romulan that
Tasha
looks
Yar.
like,
Yeah, right.
that was because they were captured by the Romulans, and she had a baby.
Yeah,
a Romulan baby.
I gotta say, the C is one of the better looking ships.
It is, yeah.
It really has a blend of the TNG and the classic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good
I have
looking ship.
actually at home. I've got a set of models from all of them, like the original, all the way up through E.
Killer.
Yeah, and they're maybe 3-4 inches, so they're not very big. But
you need to do like a video, like
yeah,
this is the B.
That's it. Yeah, I should have done that too,
to
go along with it.
Cool.
But yeah, so that actually technically it was only around a year, but it went forward in time because it went back.
Yeah.
So technically it was only around for a year. But the Enterprise D was built at Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards in orbit around Mars, and was launched in the year 2363, being commissioned a year later. Captain Jean-Luc Picard took command on stardate 41-148. It had a total of 42 decks and was twice the length, and had 8 times the interior space of the original Constitution class Enterprise.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was huge. Like if you compare the size of them,
I got an infographic here.
Yeah, the original was about the size of the saucer.
Yeah.
Of D.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Huge. While the original carried only Starfleet personnel, the Galaxy class carried the crew plus their families, and has a combined crew and passenger load of 1,012.
Ooh.
Yeah, so a lot of people on the ship.
Big one.
The captain had a ready room and a conference lounge right off of the bridge on deck 1. It also had a lounge called 10 Forward, which was on deck 10.
Right.
Duh.
Guinan's bar.
Yeah. And it had on deck 10 and 12, it had holodecks that would allow people to interact with hologram programs and act out different scenarios.
That's awesome.
So having families and on board made them have to have stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they could have places to relax. And it wasn't, the original wasn't really put forward as a military ship, but it kind of was. It was their place of work.
Yeah. It was a Galaxy class.
Galaxy class was D.
Right. Was this new?
D. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the original
so its function is different, is what you mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It had. The families were brought aboard as well, and that was kind of the thing.
Because the USS Constitution, right, is what the Constitution class. Like the class is always is named after the first ship of its type. Was a warship.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So to call this a Constitution class, right? The original.
The original was Constitution
VA.
class. Yeah.
It's a warship, right? Sort of.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Galaxy class was more. They were all out there to explore and find new things, but this one included. It seemed like it included more scientists, and then their family was there.
Right, so kids in school. And,
they had schools. They had Data actually in one episode. Data was talking about like the things that were going on just that day on board, and they were like a couple of school graduations and like a play that somebody was putting on, and then a birth, and all these different things that were going on.
And then a field trip was coming through the bridge, so like everybody look alive. You know?
Yeah, so there was so many things. And the first part of season 1, Picard is like, I don't like children, but yet they've given me a ship full of children.
Right.
So it was one of the things is like he doesn't know how to deal with children because he's a Starfleet man. He's been a military man. His entire life.
And we don't quite know about his wife or like.
He never had one.
Oh, he never had a wife?
Nope.
I thought he had like a woman he was in love with.
Well, yeah, he has he's Starfleet captain. Come on now.
Hey.
But yeah, there's been
See
several.
you on regular 9.
But and he carries a torch for Beverly Crusher.
Right.
The doctor. But yeah, he never married, and that was the thing in Star Trek Generations when he was pulled into the Nexus.
Yeah.
He was shown the life that he never had.
Right.
He was there with the kids at Christmas time, and he was able to enjoy that. But then he realized, this is not real. It can be,
right,
but it's not. And so he decides to leave. So, but yeah, he basically had given up. That was the thing. He'd given all that up for his career in Starfleet.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
The Picard was primarily the only captain of the ship. However, William Riker was briefly field promoted to captain when Picard was captured by the Borg in 2367 and turned into Locutus of Bolg.
Yes.
Also in 2369, the Enterprise was commanded by Captain Edward Jellicoe, while Picard was assigned to a covert mission on the Cardassian planet of Celtris 3. So he was put in command while he was off on that mission.
You realize you said Kardashian.
What'd I say? It's Cardassian.
Was it Chloe or Kim?
We could blow them up.
We could
that would be awesome.
Infiltrate.
We could go to war with them
covertly.
The Kardashians.
Be amazing.
The Kardashians.
Yeah. Sorry, that forever. I told you about the first time, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I was like, I am so excited for that Deep Space Nine spinoff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, punch me in the face.
We should have that. But the ship was damaged and destroyed in the Battle of Viridian 3 in 2371 after an engagement with a renegade Klingon bird of prey, damaged the warp core and forced the crew to jettison the saucer section before the engineering section exploded. The saucer section then crashed on Viridian 3, and that was in Generations as well.
Yeah.
So we got B and D having issues with the Nexus ribbon.
Yeah.
An alternate future version of the Enterprise D was seen in the final episode of The Next Generation with Admiral William Riker in command. It had a third warp nacelle added to it and a cloaking device. Plus a lot more weaponry.
Yeah.
Because when it showed up, there was, I don't know if it was Klingons or Romulans that were threatening a ship. And all of a sudden the Enterprise comes in, decloaks, and just kicked the living crap out of everybody around.
Oh, man. I remember.
Like punched right through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing pictures of this.
So yeah, it was souped up. It was definitely souped up.
Awesome.
And Riker was all gray and like all grizzled and like the Gordon's fisherman. And
it has like a two mounted cannons on the top.
Yeah.
I mean, like it even has like little wings underneath the, I guess, for stability for the third.
Yeah.
The third
cell
cell
was laid in there.
The Galaxy class Dreadnought.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he basically he kept it from being decommissioned by taking it as his flagship.
Uh-huh.
He said, okay, this is going to be my flagship, and we're keeping it out of mothballs.
Yeah.
And so
hook
whenever
it
he leaves the starbase, he uses that as his flagship. So
badass.
Membership has its privileges.
That's
now the Enterprise E was a Sovereign class starship that was launched in 2372 as the most advanced starship in the fleet. It was 685 meters long and had 24 decks, so it was smaller than D.
But could do more.
Yeah, D was 42 decks. This was only 24, and it did not have any families or children on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was back to being.
It's a lot sleeker than the Enterprise D.
It's a lot sleeker.
Where did this one show up?
This one showed up in First Contact.
First Contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
It went through a refit by 2379, which added 4 additional phaser arrays and 5 additional torpedo tubes, and increased the number of decks to 29 from 24. Captain Jean-Luc Picard assumed command shortly after it was christened, a little over a year after the D was destroyed. Most of the crew from D transferred to E, except the helmsman, which was Dum Dum Dugan. McDonough.
Yeah.
He played
Frank
Lieutenant
McDonough?
Hawk.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Who unfortunately died. He got assimilated by the Borg, and they had to kill him.
Well, duh. He was a red shirt. Well, he had the red collar.
But that's different in the in Next Generation. Red was command, whereas
security in the previous
and engineering was in the original series.
Yeah, don't ruin my
expendable.
theory. Don't ruin my theory. Yeah. Yeah, I remember his assimilation was really like he was like in the space
I hated
suit.
that because I liked his character.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
After a year-long shakedown cruise, the ship was ordered to the Romulan neutral zone during the second Borg attack and the Battle of Sector 1. Picard disobeyed orders and returned to Earth during the battle, which actually turned the tide of the battle and allowed the Borg cube to be destroyed. But it launched the ship backwards into time to prevent human first contact with Vulcans. The Enterprise followed and was able to defeat the Borg in the past and return to our time. In 2379, the Enterprise was damaged in the battle with the Scimitar, a Riemann warbird commanded by the new Praetor of the Romulan Empire, Shinzon, who is actually a human clone of Captain Picard. If you've never seen Nemesis, I don't think it gets a lot of...
Yeah.
It gets passed over because at that point, the movies had gotten to where they were not that good. Because Insurrection...
I remember.
Yeah,
Insurrection
was crap.
Yeah.
And then Nemesis actually wasn't that bad.
I remember, that he was like a younger Picard.
And the Romulans, there's 2 home planets for him, Romulus and Remus.
Remus, right, the founders of Rome.
And he led a group of Remans to take over because they were kind of like the redheaded stepchildren.
Yeah.
The Romulans were kind of in charge.
Yeah, wasn't one sort of superior to the other, and the other one was subordinate?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that.
So he was leading the Remans to take over, and he killed the entire Romulan Senate, and that's how he took over.
I gotta watch this again. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't nearly as bad as it's.
All right, I'm remembering the headless Data.
Yes.
On the stick, and then who is that guy who? Right, the Remans were like the creepy looking, Nosferatu looking people,
and
right?
they had to stay in the dark. They couldn't stand the light.
Yeah.
And Shinzon, the human clone of Picard, was played by Tom Hardy.
Oh my God, I see it now. I'm like, who is this guy?
He's skinny.
Yeah.
But that was Bane and Mad Max. And he's jacked for Bane, he's huge. He's just a skinny dude there.
Wow.
But he does a great job.
Yeah, what a great breakout role.
Yeah. But the ship, the Enterprise E, rammed the Scimitar, causing the destruction of much of the saucer section's forward area. After that, the Enterprise returned to Earth for an extensive refit. That's kind of the last we know of it.
Ron Perlman played the Riemann.
That's right,
Riemann guy. I'm just seeing him next to him.
Ron Perlman can't get out of makeup. He's always in makeup.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But there was that. Yeah, that's the last we saw. That was the last Next Generation movie, and that's the last we saw the Enterprise E. But there was a J.
Oh, yeah.
Enterprise J
From the
actually
future, right?
showed up in Star Trek Enterprise.
Right.
It was seen in the episode. I didn't write that down. I need to look that up. It was a.
Yeah, I don't know where it may have came from.
It was the Enterprise episode, Azanti Prime, I think it was.
Yeah, Zadi Prime.
Azadi.
So you want to know when? What is it?
No, I just want to know the name of the episode.
Azadi
Prime.
Azadi
Okay.
Prime, yeah, Enterprise.
Yeah, okay. In that, the Enterprise J is from the 26th century.
Yeah.
And it showed up when Captain Archer was taken to the 26th century by the temporal
Zindi?
agent Daniels to witness the battle of Procyon 5 in attempt to talk him out of a suicide mission to destroy the Zindi weapon.
Yeah.
And instead try to get him to make peace with the Zindi. But basically he said no.
Well, yeah, the Zindi were awful.
Because and the thing was the Battle of Procyon 5 was the final battle where the Federation were able to destroy the shape builders.
Oh.
And so that's what they were trying to go. Okay, if you make peace with the Zindi, this can be ended way earlier.
Ooh.
And the shape builders can be destroyed way earlier than this. But he was not convinced. So we didn't get to see a whole lot of J, just kind of like the interior. But that was it. But the fact that it was
That's an
the Enterprise
amazing
J.
looking ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was several alternate versions as well. The ISS Enterprise was a Terran Empire Constitution class battle cruiser seen in the original series episode Mirror Mirror. It had been commanded by Captain Christopher Pike before he was assassinated by Captain Kirk to succeed him.
Yeah. This is when they're the evil version. They're all
That's
like,
right. Yeah, Spock had the beard. You know
Yeah.
he's evil because he's got a beard.
Hey, you're the one with the goatee.
Yeah, it was
you
a
have
goatee.
it was a
actually.
goatee that he had,
Yeah,
right? Or was
so-
it a full beard?
No, it was goatee. So I'm the evil one.
Yeah. So sorry, the last one you said was E or F?
E. F.
Was there an F?
There was an F that showed
Yeah.
up in a video game.
Oh.
But I didn't include it because it wasn't shown
Okay.
on any kind of...
And there's no captain designated.
yeah,
to it.
exactly. It was
This
just,
is a
it was
future
in...
one.
It was a video game where you could make ships.
Oh,
I don't
I
remember what it was.
Yeah, right. It was like a Warcraft style game.
But it was, that was the only place it showed up.
And they call that one an Odyssey class.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got this cool infographic here that sort of shows.
Okay.
So, all right, so we got the J. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the NX versions, the Enterprise?
I didn't
versions,
because
or-
that was an NCC 1701. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I was sticking with.
Okay.
But the and it wasn't the Federation hadn't been formed yet, so
No.
it wasn't really Starfleet. It
No,
was
America.
it was NX. What was the number?
NX-01.
01. Okay.
Yeah, and then there was a refit class.
Okay.
There was one that you remember when they went back to Earth and they got like guns?
Yeah.
Because they got like almost destroyed out in space, and
Yeah.
then they were like, "We need weapons.
We need weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this isn't a
exactly.
science vessel."
Yeah, yeah. Now in the 2009 movie Reboot, it changed things a little bit. The Enterprise was constructed at the Riverside Shipyard in Iowa, and was launched from the San Francisco Fleet Yard in 2258. Upon launch, she is officially made the Federation flagship, and the ship was initially commanded by Captain Christopher Pike, then Spock as acting captain, then Kirk as acting captain, then Kirk officially promoted to captain, then Pike again when Kirk was demoted, then Sulu as acting captain, then back to Kirk at the end of Into Darkness.
You know?
That's a whole lot in 2 movies, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's like a whole season of TNG.
That's right. And the ship went through nearly a year of repairs, and it was rechristened to embark on a 5-year mission.
Nice.
So in the reboot, it was launched in 2258. The original, it was launched in 2245. So it was a little was a little delayed.
And are we to believe that the Enterprise in Beyond is destroyed or damaged in some way?
No, it's on its 5-year mission now.
Okay, but they're like marooned somewhere, aren't they?
I don't know. I've stayed away from
Beyond?
any. I mean,
You've seen the trailers and stuff, though, right? Where they're
I saw the one, but it doesn't
surface.
really tell you a whole lot. I mean, that could be just them separated from the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened all the time.
Right, the Galileo gets lost or something.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I've seen the trailer, but I don't want to dig into any rumors and stuff like that because I kind of want to go into that fresh and enjoy it. Because I'm really looking forward to Star Trek Beyond. So
I'm looking forward to you hopefully liking it, but if not, you taking a giant steaming crap on it with your way, Timmy D.
Hey. But yeah, because I don't know why we need to have a 5-year mission because apparently we have a magic transporter that can transport you anywhere in the galaxy. Into darkness. He transported from Earth to the Klingon homeworld.
That's amazing.
That's good stuff. We don't have to have ships anymore.
That's like some major data roaming right there.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't need ships anymore.
Yeah,
right?
you don't need ships anymore. You can transport anywhere, and nobody dies because you got magic tribble blood. So, and for some reason we don't have tribbles everywhere.
Eating everything they did in the original. Yeah. I think you just meant you don't have magic tribble blood.
I would love to have some magic tribble blood. I've got a tribble on my desk in there, in my office. I do.
Does it react with bad people?
No, unfortunately it doesn't.
Oh.
If I could get it to do that, like hold it up to people and go get the Klingon freak out, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We need to get on that. I need that made.
Yeah.
I'll give you my money.
Well, let me log on to ThinkGeek and I'll put in the request
form
here.
Freak out. That would be awesome. I would really like that.
So that's awesome, Tim. I mean, I didn't realize there was that many ships and like, I guess the in-between the original series and then TNG, those sort of segue ships.
Yeah.
With the way that they explained it.
Those are the ones that always
continuity.
Fascinated me because we've seen all the missions of the original in A.
Right.
And then we saw everything with D all the way up to the when it crashed. But the ones that fascinated me were B and C.
Right.
The ones that we got one little look at B. But okay, what did it do? It was commissioned for 36 years.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? And we don't. I mean, we get some of it in like comics or books and stuff like that, but we don't get the full story.
And the Excelsior was in what?
It was.
What movie was that in?
It was in.
Is that Wrath of Khan?
Yeah. It was right at the end of 2 when they were coming home. The Wrath of Khan.
Because it was docked at...
No, that was the beginning of 3.
Okay.
I don't think they see it.
Didn't the Excelsior try to chase them and then it like powered down?
That was 3, yeah.
That was Search for
Spock. Scotty had
rigged it.
Sabotaged it.
Yeah. So this is the Excelsior becomes the class that B is.
Yes.
So that ship is based on the Excelsior.
It was the big experiment. It had transwarp drive. It had all the bells and
anti-lock
whistles.
brakes and
it had
cup holders,
automatic door locks, and
heated seats.
And for some reason, a captain that carried a cane around like a douchebag. I don't remember that guy's
Maybe he
name.
was like a Riddler captain.
Yeah, but yeah, he was like, "You're embarrassing yourself. Don't try to run." And then Scotty threw a monkey wrench into the whole works.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the B. I think basically because they didn't want to build another ship, they could just use the Excelsior and make it Enterprise B.
That was Larry Stiles.
Larry Stiles, okay.
Who played the captain
Stiles, yeah.
on that one. Oh, and there's a picture of Zulu with the T.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's our showcase, the first of many this year on different elements of Star Trek. That is the Starship Enterprise.
That's awesome. Can you do something like this about uniforms? Because there's been like so many kinds.
Actually, I'll get in this discussion. The best one is the Star Trek II.
Oh, Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the best uniforms.
The squishy white collar.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the little turtleneck that came out, but it would flap down.
And the blood.
Yeah.
Right,
the little bloody handprint. Yeah. There's a group around here. It's kind of like the 501st for Star Trek.
What are they called?
They're the
Maquis?
Independent Fleet, I think.
Okay.
But at a con I went to in it was actually more of a art show than it was a con. It was a CATSI-Con up in Morganton.
Yeah.
There was a guy from there.
Oh, cool.
And he was in that uniform. I was like, dude, it's just awesome. If I would ever cosplay something, it would be that.
Awesome.
That way, it
would be that uniform.
Yeah, that uniform always looked awesome. So, yeah, and he was decked out the whole thing, the turtleneck, in which it was August.
Ooh,
so he was,
good Lord,
he was suffering. So
they are independent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So, but yeah, that uniform looks awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be plenty of stuff. There's going to be phasers, and I think I'm going to do something on the stuff that they had on Star Trek that is now that we have.
It's almost all of it.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you think about the original series, they had communicators. Cell phones weren't a thing then.
No.
Now we
Right.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got the tricorder here.
Yeah, basically.
Not
yeah.
the medical one, but
Yeah.
working on that.
Yeah, and that's one of the funniest stories there. Shatner wrote a book called Star Trek. I'm working on that, and the title came from during when they were shooting Next Generation. Stephen Hawking was a huge fan.
Yeah.
So he was given a tour of the set, and as they're going around, they show him the transporter, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm working on that." Anybody else, you'd laugh that off.
Yeah.
But it's Stephen Hawking.
No, it's,
he actually is working on
might
that.
have a little one in his office.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just thought that was cool. And that's what he did Shatner did in his book. He looked at stuff that they had that was science fiction that is now everyday life now.
Yeah, right, totally.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff this year because I'm a big old Star Trek nerd. So. I love it. So. But that is our showcase for this week. Our picks of the week, I don't really have anything. Do you have any?
No.
No.
Yeah,
we have fallen down on the job.
No, it's DC week, so I think we picked that.
Yeah, I think
right?
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow. Go see that. That's going to be incredible. We're going to be right there with you. And then next week we'll do our review.
And my daughter is jacked up.
Yeah.
She's ready for it.
It's going to be so good.
It looks like so much fun. I mean, because you get to see. I saw actually Wentworth Miller was on the Today Show this morning. Captain Cold.
Oh.
And he talks about they showed a clip to where him and Heatwave are planning to make a little cash on the trip. They're talking and he's like
they know time.
Imagine what do? We steal things.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine back when there was no security cameras, when there was no internet to chase you down. No radios.
Right.
He said. So imagine getting the Hope Diamond before they even found it, taking the Mona Lisa right off the easel. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and that's something they haven't touched on in these trailers.
Have to rein them in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times where Ray actually says, "Is it a good idea to have these two criminals here?" Of course, then Captain Cold punches him. So, but yeah, that's an element there that they're going to be out for the score. That's what they do.
I mean, it's tempting. Think about the almanac in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting show. It's gonna be really, really cool. So, that's our pick. See, I was only kidding when I said we didn't have a pick of the week. That's our pick of the week.
Well, I went back in time and
it
just made you go.
Back in time to
recommend Legends of Flaro.
That's right. So that's on tonight. So you can do that. You can watch that. And like you said, next week I'm sure we'll talk about it ad nauseum.
Absolutely. And make sure you Netflix and kill.
Netflix and kill, that's
to
right.
To describe our Marvel Universe on
Netflix.
Right.
All right, and that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Ninja Troll Digicast. Remember, for all the latest news from all around geek culture, make sure you follow us on social media, facebook.com/Ninja Troll Digicast.
On the Twitter at Ninja Troll Show.
And Instagram at Ninja Troll Digicast.
We are on YouTube at youtube.com/the letter C/Ninja Troll Digicast.
Why is YouTube so
What's that damn C?
It's fancy.
What is that even
I don't
about?
know. I guess channels. I don't know.
C is for channel.
Yay.
That's good enough for me.
And you can always visit us at NinjaTrollDigicast.com. And while you're there, click on the subscribe to iTunes button to get the Ninja Troll on iTunes. And make sure you join us next week. Same Ninja time, same Ninja channel.
You've been listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Tune in next time when you'll hear Tim say,
"Open the pod bay doors, Hal."
This is the Ninja Troll Digicast, the defenders of all things geek culture.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja.